junior sport to give them a nice early night across both days of competition. But the cars rolling around. Bree Simpson now into position. James Oliver taking up his spot on the outside of the fourth row. 10 starters for heat race number 1, this year's Raslar Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. This is going to be a pulsating couple of days here at Alexandra. We're looking forward to what lies ahead. This opening heat race of the weekend brought to you by Fallon's Bus Services here in Alexandra. Your 10 starters, a good mix from right around the country. Jaden Santon from New South Wales and the West Australian champion Bo Oldfield. The 2022 Raslar Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title is underway. 8 laps ahead of him as they sail off into turn number 1. This Alexandra Speedway nearly 600 metres in circumference. And the number 84 from the northern suburbs of Perth, Bo Oldfield, leads down the back straight for the first time in his Mitsubishi Mirage. Jaden Santon trying to stay with him, and Carly O'Reilly already up into third place in the Tasmania 28. And Liam Cameron on the charge. The Daihatsu Charade from the Rockhampton Saloon Car Club is up into 4th place. So they complete 1 of 8 circulations of the Alexandra Speedway. Bree Simpson with an outstanding start is up into 6th place, trying to hustle onto the back of the Bacchus Marsh towing number 64 of James Oliver. As they sail down the back straight into a turn number 3, which tightens up a bit on you. The concrete wall sort of comes towards you as you enter turn number 3. This very unique, wide open, fast Alexandra Speedway. Well, the West Australian champion has got out to a handy gap back to Jaden Santon from Lismore. They're 2 and 3 wide for third. James Oliver just runs wide, and Bree Simpson from P10 is already up into 5th in the Alexandra number 10. The Mitsubishi Lancer on the charge. Oliver trying to go back underneath, but they're absolutely flying at the junior sedans around the Alexandra Speedway. It's Bo Oldfield from Jaden Santon in the New South Wales 17, the Tasmania 28 of Carly O'Reilly. As James Oliver fighting back on the outside on Bree Simpson for 5th place. As Liam Cameron goes to the outside of Carly O'Reilly. They're side by side down the back straight. And the Queensland 22 just about had the nose in 3rd place momentarily. Just had to give the spot back to Carly O'Reilly, who goes back down underneath in the Mitsubishi Lancer from the Latrobe Speedway Sedan Drivers Association in Tasmania. The 16 of Corey Richter is retired from the race to South Australia. 16 Datsun Sunny has limped to the infield. The green lights stay on. And Bree Simpson, what a move! Out of turn number 2, the rocket ship on the bottom side of the racetrack goes from 5th up into 3rd. From P10, she's up into 3rd place as Bree Simpson, as Oldfield continues to lead. He's got out to nearly 2.5 seconds back to Jaden Santon in the New South Wales 17. Bree Simpson from the back of the bus is 3rd from Carly O'Reilly, who just holding off, continues to hold off the 22 Charade of Liam Cameron. Then James Oliver, Blake Glenn and Lockie Bull, and rounding him out the 29 of Jasmine Bryant. The Daihatsu Charade further back, sitting in 9th place with Corey Richter, unfortunately, on the infield. Just getting pretty willing for 4th on back behind Riley. Between Oliver, Cameron, as Lockie Bull and Blake Glenn run side by side into turn number 1. Lockie Bull on the low line. And the Swan Hill 51 just cuts Blake Glenn wide on the exit of turn number 2. As Bo Oldfield will get the white flag. The West Australian champion has 1 lap remaining of the Alexandra Speedway. As Bree Simpson now reeling in Jaden Santon in the battle for 2nd. James Oliver momentarily into 4th on the outside of Carly O'Reilly, who comes back down underneath the 64s. It's all getting pretty willing for 4th on back as Bree Simpson moves into 2nd. But bring him home, ladies and gentlemen, the West Australian champion will take out the first heat race win of the weekend. Bo Oldfield in the WA 84. Bree Simpson, what a drive from P10 to still 2nd on the final circulation from Jaden Santon. Carly O'Reilly is a blanket finish for the Miners. Liam Cameron, James Oliver, Lockie Bull, Blake Glenn and Jasmine Bryant will be the 9th car and the final finisher in heat race number 1 that was brought to you by Fallon's Bus Services. We're going to head downstairs to have a chat to our heat race number 1 winner, Bo Oldfield, and the Nationwide Signs number 84. Well, Alexandra makes some noise for the West Australian champion, the WA 84, Bo Oldfield, has led all 8 laps in this opening heat race to the Raslar Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. Bo, well done to yourself, and you must be wrapped. They already have 36 points in the bank.
Yeah, it's always better to have 36 than a 0, so we'll take that any day.
Have you found the Alexandra Speedway since you've been here?
It's definitely challenging, different to what us WA guys have ever had, so it's good to have something different, and hopefully we'll come out good with it.
Must be some people you'd like to thank that are watching at home.
there's always people I can thank. I can't thank Chelsea Contracting, being Timmy and Robin, Jamie Landrigan for helping me get over here as well as Wayne Leviston from WCN Transport for getting me over here. I couldn't thank them enough.
All the best for the rest of the weekend, Bo.
Thank you. I didn't have to.
Well, set for a start straight away here in heat race number 2 of this National Junior Sedan title. Great start to the weekend for Bo Alford, who will be next to get 36 points in the bank. This heat race brought to us by Bell Blast Protective Coating. 11 starters to do battle. Heat number 2 of 21 on day 1. Just coming up on 2:30 local time, we're racing. And Kane Richter's the Queensland 32 and the Victoria 49 of Jaden Bryant, 2 very experienced junior sedan competitors, both very fast. And our chief steward, Alan Jennings, the national steward for Speedway Sedans Australia, not happy with the start. I think a couple of them just out of position further back in the field. And we'll pick them up with a complete restart. Cameron Smith in the beautifully turned out Sign FX Hyundai Excel out of the Timber Speedway in Mildura. His dad, David, the 2012 National Modified Sedan Champion. It's a big future in the sport. As cylinder, yeah, we're going green. Straight away in heat number 2. Bryant and Richter's lead off into turn number 1 once again. And Jaden Bryant, who does a lot of his racing here at Alexandra. The Autobahn entry leads out of turn 2 and down the back straight for the first of 8 occasions. Kane Richter's trying to stay with him. Kane, the runner-up in the South Australian title. Phenomenal effort to go down to that event in South Australia, considering he's based at Bundaberg in Queensland. Cameron Smith sits in third from the Queensland 27 of Cooper Flynn. Riley Lawrence on the charge as well in the VA 66, and also in the older school car out of Mildura as well. Mitchell McClure, the South Australian champion. Aaron Tranter is 7th. From Billy McDonald, Tyler Scott in the 08 from Western Australia. Then we've got the 17 of Cooper Reid and the VA 29 from Hamilton of Ryland Peck. As we got one in the wall. McDonald unfortunately climbing the concrete wall in turn number 4. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to limp the Mitsubishi Lancer to the infield. In fact, he won't be able to. The yellow lights have come on as McDonald manages to limp the car. Looks like there might be a bit of steering damage or something like that on the front end, Jared, on and it's just sort of backing up a little bit at the tail of the field. That concertina effect that you see so often as they come to the single file. Which is hat. The single file restart. We're back underway with heat number 2. Brought to you by Bell Bask Protective Coating. And Jaden Bryant, very confident young man. And he will be hoping for a big weekend on his home track in the V49 as he leads through Pitt's Corner into the front straight once more. Kane Richter's has got the V14 of Cameron Smith nipping at his heels for second place. Smith, who hails out of Mildura in the northeastern part of Victoria, makes a little bit of a mistake in turn number 1 and might have opened the door for Cooper Flynn to find a way past. Mitchell McClure is 5th from Aaron Tranter, the South Australian champion, running against the S45 this weekend. He sits in 6th place. Out of Riley Lawrence, the VA 66 out of the Rosedale Club, the Gippsland region of Victoria. Tyler Scott from Kalgoorlie Boulder, the 08 out of Western Australia is 8th. The VA 29 of Ryland Peck and the 17 of Cooper Reid from Queensland. Rounds out your runners as Aaron Tranter, a big lunge into turn number 3. Moves up into 5th place, down the inside of the older model Datsun Sunny of Mitchell McClure. So Aaron Tranter looking to make some good progress here in heat race number 2. As he just comes up onto the tail of the Queensland 27 of Cooper Flynn, who runs wide on the exit of turn number 2. Look at the charade go to the bottom side of the racetrack. Aaron Tranter moves into 4th. What a move. Great bit of driving. Young man who hails just outside of Adelaide on the northeastern outskirts of Adelaide. He's up into 4th. Mitchell McClure might follow him through down the inside of Cooper Flynn up into 5th. Flynn back to 6th from Riley Lawrence, Tyler Scott, Ryland Peck and Cooper Reid. Round out your runners, but Jaden Bryant is checked out on him in the Alexandra 49, running his V49 for this weekend's national title. has just 1 lap remaining of his home track, the Alexandra Speedway. Kane Richter's a comfortable drive in second from Cameron Smith as they head down the back straight and into turn number 3 for the last time. Bring him home, Alexandra. The V49 for Autobahn of Jaden Bryant gets it done. From the Q32 of Kane Richter's, V14 Cameron Smith, the S45 of Aaron Tranter, VA8 Mitchell McClure will be 5th. The Q27 of Cooper Flynn, 7th was the V86 of Riley Lawrence, 8th the 08 of Tyler Scott, the WA08, 9th was the VA29 of Ryland Peck, QA17 of Cooper Reid was 10th, and not completing a lap was the Q2 of Billy McDonald, to be credited with 11th place finishing points. But I'm going to head downstairs to have a chat to the winner of heat number 2, Jaden Bryant. And getting his winner's board for winning heat race number 2 of this year's Raslar Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan on his home track. Make plenty of noise for him, Alexandra. The V49, Jaden Bryant, already has 36 points. Outstanding start to the weekend.
Thanks, buddy. It's definitely good to get that one out of the way, get some nerves off myself. Lots of pressure, being second quick last night, so I had to do something off the front row. I think I've broken a drive shaft or something. There's something happened in the front end, but hopefully we'll get it sorted. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Autobahn Epping, Roddy Constructions, Smooth Suspension, Raslar Engineering, Simo's Fiberglass, Dale, and everyone else that helps out on the car. It's certainly good to get a heat win at a national title.
All the best for the rest of the weekend, Jaden.
Thanks, buddy.
Jared Witter.
Speechless. You sound speechless,
Yeah,
Wally.
I just, when we got here on Thursday, it's just, yeah, been a lot of racetracks in my life. I've been to a heat through the Midwest of America, and yeah, I haven't seen anything like this, but it's absolutely fantastic. And the people here at Alexandra have been, the hospitality has been top shelf, to say the least. And young Carter Metcalfe, what a couple of seasons he's put together in junior sedans. A very, very handy driver from the Timmins Speedway in Mildura. He'll be looking to get some big points. And Brody Day, his dad Andrew and Glenn Graham on the tools this weekend. Big effort to come from Narrogin for this national title. They're going to stick around for the Victorian state title next weekend as well. Green flag comes down on heat number 3. And it's all go into turn number 1, and Carter Metcalfe got a great start this heat race, brought to you by the fantastic folks at Bacchus Marsh Towing. And Carter Metcalfe with an outstanding start. He leads another Hyundai Excel of Brody Day down the back straight for the first time. Braden Kane, a big lunge into turn number 3 to the inside of Nathan Miles. Make a bit of light contact as Jack Randall and Lockie Robbins trying to work their way past Roy Orm here in the front straight with 1 down and 7 remaining. And the man who was quickest in official practice yesterday afternoon, Carter Metcalfe, the V810, heads past the smooth suspension sign into turn number 3. Look at the 2021 Tasmanian champion. He's done a lot of racing on the mainland this season. Lockie Robbins digging on the bottom as they exit turn number 4. He's got Nathan Miles, Rye Orm, Jack Murphy in the ACT 55. And the V51 of Jack Randall, all for company. All Mitsubishi products. There's 5 of them. You can throw a blanket over them as they exit turn 2 and hustle down the big back straight here at Alexandra into turn number 3 past the Foodworks sign and into the front straight. But look at Carter Metcalfe. He's checked out on him. He's got 1.8 seconds back to the WA8 for Coulker Automotive in Narrogin of young Brody Day. Finished 3rd in this event 2 years ago over in his home state in Western Australia. Sophie Santin from Lismore is 3rd. From Lockie Robbins, Nathan Miles rounding at your top 5. He's got another Lancer behind him, the ACT 55 of Jack Murphy. Jack Randall is 7th. From Rye Orm, Braden Kane in the Tasmania 23. Another Tasmanian behind young Braden is Michaelia Riley in the T14 from Latrobe. And running them out is the 63, the V63 of Sammy Werters in his Hyundai Excel from the Nyora Club here in Victoria. But Carter Metcalfe is absolutely flying. We'll check his quick lap time. So far it's at 22.062, so not quite as quick as he went in practice last night. He leads by 4.5 seconds back to Brody Day in the WA8. They're 3 wide as they exit turn number 2. Lockie Robbins to the inside of the 18 of Sophie Santin. They're side by side into turn number 3. And Lockie Robbins might have got the job done. Puts Santin back to fourth. Nathan Miles trying to follow Lockie Robbins through on the bottom side of the racetrack. Moves into fourth in the V12. Great battle for the minors between those guys. As they sail off into turn number 2. Santin, unfortunately, has gone back to 6th place in the blink of an eye. But just one lap remains for our race leader, Carter Metcalfe. Puts a lap down on the 63 of Sammy Werters. Brody Day still comfortably in second. The Narrogin Earth moving Hyundai XL. Lockie Robbins is third. Nathan Miles and Jack Murphy a great scrap for fourth. Sophie Santin, Jack Randall is seventh. From Rye Orme, Braden Kane, Michaelia Raleigh. But out of turn 4, the VA10, Carter Metcalfe has 36 points. He wins heat number 3 of this weekend's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. Brody Day, a fine runner-up from Lockie Robbins. Nathan Miles, Jack Murphy will round out your top 5. Jack Randall holds on to 6th place from the New South Wales 18 of Sophie Santin. Then after that was the V9 of Rye Orme, the 23 of Braden Kane, Tasmania 14 of Michaelia Riley, and one lap down was Sammy Werters in the V63. But Carter Metcalfe, he was fastest in practice yesterday afternoon, and a man who's finished on the podium previously in the South Australian state title will be looking for a strong result this weekend.
Victoria number 4, and they are your starters for heat race number 4 of the Rassler Engineering National Junior Sedan title, Smalley.
Yeah, this heat race brought to you by In the Hills Bookkeeping. The previous one was courtesy of Bacchus Marsh Towing. But great to see a driver out of Dubbo in central New South Wales, starting from pole position here in heat number 4. 10 starters to go round. Best presented car on the outside of the front row, Shani Farrell on the Tasmania 35 as they come to the green. And Shani Farrell is maybe a car length in front of our pole set. I'm not sure if the pole car just didn't keep up with Shani or the 35 went a bit early, but I don't think that one's going to be let go. We'll just wait and see what the call is from our stewarding team from Speedway Sedans Australia, and I think it's going to stay green. So Shani Farrell gets the best of that start. An outstanding start on the outside of the front row. Kane Della from P5, the young fella who's the current WA number 3 from Kalgoorlie in the Goldfields region of Western Australia. Moves up in a second. Jackson Goldie from Dubbo in New South Wales back to third. Then a bit of a gap back to young Harry Fowler in the Q23. He hails from the Gold Coast. Jacob Timworth from Victoria is 5th. Jessica O'Donnell, the V69 is 6th from Toby Parks. And Jaden Locke, a pair of Victorians battling further back. Jaden Locke wasn't with us yesterday afternoon, missed official practice, so his first laps of the weekend in the Mitsubishi Lancer from the Simpson Car Club. Further back is Tamika Simpson in the 23 and the 31 of Chase Doherty, that older model car at the back of the field. But Kane Della, he looked pretty quick yesterday in official practice, and he's closing in on the Tasmania 35 for Tas Truck refinishing of Shani Farrell. They come down the front straight. Della trying to find a way past as they enter turn number 1. Della on the low line in the 95, and we've got, unfortunately, one around down in turn number 4. The yellow lights have come on. Didn't actually see what occurred down there. I was watching our leaders sail off into turn number 1, and a little bit of debris on the racetrack as well down there on the bottom side of the racetrack in turn 4. Jake Turian, one of our scrutineers from Speedway Sedans Australia, is straight onto that. He's working the infield this weekend as young Jake. But the quick time of the race belongs to Kane Della. The 22.343 in the 95 was just closing in on Shani Farrell. We have completed 2 laps and 6 remaining here in heat number 4. Brought to you by the fantastic folks at In the Hills Bookkeeping. Jaden Locke is minus the right-hand side door skin on the Lancer. You can see the NASCAR bars on the side of the number 4 car. So we're all set to go as they come out of turn number 4. 6 laps remain in heat 4. This is the middle heat race of the opening round of competition in this year's national title. And Shani Farrell, 6 long laps of the Alexandra Speedway to negotiate. The Tasmania 35 takes the Lancer through turn number 2. Kane Della, in his final season of junior sedan racing, so his final national title, goes 3/4 track high to the outside. With the Tasmania 35 trying to find a way past. This might open the door for Jackson Goldie in the NA17. The Q23 Mirage of Harry Fowler to find a way past. Their line astern for first on back behind Shani, the top 4. Behind Shani Farrell, who is our race leader. The Tasmania 35, Jaden Locke, has now moved to 5th place as Toby Parks and Jacob Timworth battle into turn number 3 for 6th. Further back is Tamika Simpson, who sits in 8th place as a challenge for the lead. Here comes Kane Della, the 95. The WA 95 takes the race lead as they come through turn number 1. Jackson Goldie on the inside trying to make it a Hyundai Excel 1-2. The 17 side by side with Shani Farrell. They into turn number 3. Farrell trying to fight back on the outside. Just got the Lancer a little bit untidy midway through turns 3 and 4. Bounced her way through Pitt's corner. Falls back to 3rd. Just ahead of Harry Fowler. Jaden Locke rounding at your top 5. But the quick time of the race now belongs to our race leader, Kane Della, with a 22.090. So no one has entered the 21-second bracket, which is where we were yesterday during official practice. 9 drivers were in that range yesterday afternoon. In it was a late afternoon practice session yesterday. So 2 to run for Kane Della in the KCLD Cleaning 95. Jackson Goldie doesn't do a whole lot of racing with these guys. Sits in 2nd as Harry Fowler and Shani Farrell going to battle past the start-finish line with just 1 lap remaining of the Alexandra Speedway here in country Victoria. And the 95 will look to become the 2nd West Australian after Bo Oldfield, their state champion, won a heat race in this opening round of heats. This year's national title as he brings the 95 through Pitt's corner for the final time. Bring him home, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Kalgoorlie in WA. Kane Della scores the heat race win from Jackson Goldie. Race to the line. Shani Farrell's just going to get there by 0.012 of a second from Harry Fowler. Jaden Locke will be 5th in the Victoria 4 from Jacob Timworth, JB Parks. And Tamika Simpson with, unfortunately, Jessica O'Donnell. Actually, it was Chase Doherty was the final finisher with Jessica O'Donnell. Not able to restart the race after that stoppage. But we're going to head downstairs to chat to the winner of heat race number 4, brought to you by In the Hills Bookkeeping, Kane Della. Well, the winner of heat race number 4 in the KCLD Cleaning, number 95 out of Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, young Kane. Kane must be outstanding to start the weekend with 36 points.
Yeah, definitely good to get the points fast, and yeah, definitely weird to get my head around this track. Nothing over at home. Just like to thank all my sponsors and everyone that got me over here to do this. My brother and my pop driving the car over, all my family back at home watching and supporting, and the rest of my sponsors. Too many to list at the moment, but yeah, hopefully we can carry this momentum through the weekend and finish strong.
All the best, Kane.
Cheers.
Already rolling out heat race number 4, the heat race number 5. Hats off to everyone here at Alexandra that have done the work in the days, weeks, months leading up to this national title. Outstanding job. Heat 5 brought to you by the people at Ismail's Building and Construction. Ismail's Building and Construction supporting heat race number 5 of the national title. Bo Oldfield, Jaden Bryant, Carter Metcalfe and Kane Della, your heat race winners so far in this opening round of heats. If you've just joined the live coverage courtesy of the team from Speedway Sedan Australia Live and Ash Media. Racing in heat number 5. And Steph Sloan and Tanner Barclay and a pair of Mitsubishi Lancers, both from Victoria in your front row. And all the way from Newman in the far north of Western Australia, the East Pilbara region of Donnie Davis going to the outside straight away in his first national title in Speedway Sedans Australia Junior Sedans, and he goes around the outside of Steph Sloan. Up into second place is Patterson moving his way forward in the V48, that being Lincoln Patterson. New panel scheme for this weekend in the Raslar Engineering, number 48. On his home track, JJ Hamilton out of Brisbane runs in 4th place. Steph Sloan's gone back to 5th. He's got the Bundaberg number 11 of Curtis Peel to the inside, and Curtis Peel trying to bring his charade forward. This is a very quick heat race in progress at the moment. Heat race number 5, the 3rd last heat of the opening round of this year's Raslar Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. And the young fellow all the way from Newman in Western Australia, 4,000 kilometres one way to be here in Central Victoria this weekend. The WA3 hassling the back of the 95 of Tanner Barclay, the local Victorian, just holding on at the moment. Donnie Davis throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him as they come past the start-finish line. Lincoln Patterson just sitting there comfortably in 3rd at the moment in the V48. The Queensland 99 of JJ Hamilton from Morgan Metal Corp sits in 4th, and Curtis Peel, the Q11, is getting amongst it as well. They're your top 5. So they hustle into Pitt's corner. Outstanding stuff from the SSA Junior Sedans. And Tanner Barclay, his quick time so far at 22.396. Just holding on as they negotiate the slower car. The 9 of Tyson Heafy to the 5 drivers out in front. Bit of a gap back to Seth Sloan, who sits in 6th. As Curtis Peel now tries to make a move to the inside of JJ Hamilton. These guys race against each other week in and week out in southeast Queensland. And the Q11 to the inside of JJ Hamilton moves into 4th. And he has designs on 3rd place. Does Curtis Peel as Donnie Davis tries to go down the inside of Tanner Barclay. They hustle out of turn number 2. Davis on the low line, ranging up alongside the 95 of Tanner Barclay. And Donnie Davis momentarily hits the front. Tanner Barclay trying to fight back, and Curtis Peel, the charade is coming for the race lead. The Q11, the Linus Stern, the top 3, with just 2 laps remaining of the Alexandra Speedway, and Donnie Davis now is clearly in front. Barclay trying to go with him, and Curtis Peel hasn't raced in a national title for 3 years, but he's absolutely getting amongst it here in central Victoria at the Alexandra Speedway. 1 lap remaining. Can Donnie Davis hold on? It's the West Australian from Newman in WA, the far north of Western Australia, just holding off Tanner Barclay in the V95. The Q11 of Curtis Peel goes to the inside of Barclay, and Curtis Peel, what a move. He's come from P5 up into 2nd on the final lap, but it's going to be another West Australian heat race win in the opening round to Donnie Davis, and the WA3 just gets there from Peel, Barclay, Patterson and JJ Hamilton, your top 5. Bit of a gap back to the V93 of Seth Sloan, the High-Tech Oils 5, the Victoria 5 of Fletcher Barron. Then after that was Matty Capon in 66, and the 13 also out of Victoria of Billy McBride, and Tyson Heafy 1 lap down in the VA9. But probably the heat race of the weekend so far, and an outstanding drive by Donnie Davis in the WA3 to collect the 36 points in that heat race, brought to you by Ismail's Building and Construction. Well, after an outstanding drive to hit the race lead there in heat number 5 in the latter stages, all the way from Newman in West Australia, young Donnie Davis. Donnie, the TLC contracting Lancer, was on point there, and you've already found the quick way.
Pretty good, except for the left rear, so yeah.
Yeah, still a little bit of damage to the left rear after you crossed the checkered flag, but you got a pretty good crew behind you this weekend with Warren Flavor and also your dad on the tools to get the car turned around for your next heat race.
Yeah, they'll get on it and fix the left rear, and we should be good.
Tell the people here at Alexandra about the trip over, a long way from Newman, where you live in WA, to come here to Victoria.
Oh, it's terrible. 4 days in the car. Yeah, took ages.
That's all right. Are you making it worthwhile at the moment, Donnie? All the best for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Outstanding stuff, Jared, by Donnie Davis. A great battle between himself, Tanner Barclay, and also Curtis Peel was outstanding as well in that heat race. We've just got 2 more to run here in the opening round this year's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. So the Queensland champion Aiden Rigby from the Gympie Saloon Car Club is going to lead him to the green here in heat number 6, brought to you by Elite Racking Install. They're the supporters of this penultimate heat race of the opening round. Will Fallon and the Fallon's Bus Services 77 starting on the front row with the Q28 of Aiden Rigby as they head into turn number 1. Brody Hollyman, 3/4 track high. Brandon Olsen, oh no! Will Fallon unfortunately is gone head first into the concrete wall. Heavy damage to the rear end of the Datsun Sunny. And I think we'll have a bit of a lengthy delay here. And Will Fallon, who started on the outside of the front row in the V77, has collected the concrete wall rather heavily just on the exit of turn 2, just prior to the exit gate where the competitors head back into the pit area after they conclude their race. So into a solid yellow light. We'll pull the cars up here in the front straight. We'll come back in a moment's time and let you know how young. So the Queensland champion Aiden Rigby never raced here before. Has a pretty unique home track at Gympie, but Gympie and Alexandra, both unique in size and shape, but nothing alike at all. As Rigby and the Tasmania 73 of Stevie Smith led him to the green flag. Brody Holloman and another Tasmanian, Brandon Austin, trying to get amongst it, as is AJ McDonald in the QA 17 as they head down the back straight, 3 wide into turn number 3. McDonald on the lay line in the 17, moves up into second place. Does AJ McDonald. Jaden Hancock nearly making it 3 wide as they exit turn number 4 in the Q7 to the inside of Brandon Austin. Their line astern, and now getting side by side as they exit turn number 2. Austin on the outside of Hollyman. Austin trying to try and split the middle on Brody Holloman and Stevie Smith. Hollyman in the low line, the Queensland 12. He's got Stevie Smith and Brandon Austin trying to find a way past. Nearly 4 wide here in the front straight. Jaden Hancock continues to try and work the bottom side. He's digging on the bottom. And a little bit of a touch between himself and Brody Holloman. They were in action at the High-Tech Oils Toowoomba Speedway only a couple of weeks ago, having a great battle up there. They've brought that show down here to Alexandra. Brandon Austin has got the Hyundai Excel flying down the back straight. Moves up into 3rd place to the inside of AJ McDonald and Stevie Smith. Austin on the low line, AJ McDonald on the outside. And Austin moves up into 2nd. McDonald back to 3rd. From Brody Holloman, Stevie Smith, your top 5. Jaden Hancock, Nate Garwood, the Tasmanian champion, right there as well. Just getting a bit untidy for 5th on back. The 47 of Young Patterson is amongst it as well. As they exit turn number 4 and it coming to the front straight with just a couple of laps remaining. The V47 of River Patterson, who did start in P11 to start with, has worked his way up into 6th place past the Tasmania 73 of Stevie Smith. And just a bit of smoke coming from the 47 car. But the Queensland champion trying to follow in the footsteps of the West Australian champion, Po Alford, who won a heat race in this opening round. He's just coming up on the lap car of Max Richter, the South Australian number 12. But Aiden Rigby heads down the back straight in the Q28 from the T65 of Brandon Austin. AJ McDonald sits in 3rd from Jaden Hancock and Brody Holloman. So the Queenslanders 3rd, 4th and 5th with 2 laps remaining. Stevie Smith still 6th from River Patterson. Nate Garwood, the Tasmanian champion, is 8th. And Max Richter is retired, the South Australia 12 to the infield. Matilda Farrell also out there as well in the VA5. But Aiden Rigby, not that he would know it, he's got 1.2 seconds back to the T65 of Brandon Austin. Jaden Hancock and AJ McDonald, the 2 Lancers from Southeast Queensland, side by side into turn number 1. And Jaden Hancock has the job done, moves into 3rd. He's made good progress in this heat race from P7 up into 3rd. But out of turn 4 for the final time, the Queensland champion, Aiden Rigby, wins heat 6. The Tasmania 65 of Brandon Austin. Q7 of Jaden Hancock, the Q17 of AJ McDonald, and we've got the Q12 of Brody Holloman will be officially 5th from the T73 of Stevie Smith, the V47 of River Patterson. After that was the T77 of Nate Garwood. The VA5, Matilda Farrell, will be the only cars to do the distance. Max Richter will be after that with 10th place finishing points, and the V77 of Will Fallon will be officially 7th. But great race win to Q28, Aiden Rigby from the Gympie Saloon Car Club.
So, ladies and gentlemen, driving the Kiba Engineering Group Process Driven Solutions, Queensland number 1, Aiden Rigby. Put your hands together. Aiden, you've got to be happy with that one, mate. It was about a 1.5 second victory over 2nd place there. Just did everything right, and that caps off a pretty cool trip so far for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty good track. Just got to work on a few things. But massive thanks to Mum, Dad, Grandma and Grandpa for coming, Papa for all the work, and the sponsors, Kiba Engineering, Sprott Stainless Steel, Gympie Auto Wreckers, GTR Fabrications, and Gympie Bridgestone. And a massive thanks to Steve for building us a motor just before this because we broke one. But yeah, it's pretty good.
So you do it the hard way. Good luck in your 2nd heat race, mate. It's a really cool family team that you guys have put together, and hopefully you can have a good run down here at the Razzler National Junior Sedan title.
Yeah, hopefully going good.
Ladies and gentlemen, make plenty of noise for the Queensland champion driving the Kiba Engineering Group Process Driven Solutions number 1.
Total Autos, Peckenham bringing you this final heat of the opening round. Logan Mayer, the V61, stands on the loud pedal. That's your pole setter, leads him Into turn number 1 for the first of 8 occasions. Cruz Farrell in the V25 looking to the inside in the Midwest Imports Mitsubishi Lancer. So hustle out of turn 2 and down the back straight. Watch for Reese Meekins, his 3/4 track guy, the V85, and just 11 years of age in the Northern Territory, 43. River Spitzbath there, 3 wide as they exit turn number 4. Look at Spitzbath on the inside. The 43, been doing a lot of racing in the southern half of Australia the last few months in readiness for this big couple of weekends here at Alexandra. And he moves up in the 4th down the inside of Harry Cecil, Meekins, Kiara McKercher and Will Shaw. Look at the V15 out of Mildura, go 3/4 track high in the Adamalt Industries Mitsubishi Mirage. This is a great battle for the minors. It's getting pretty willing. McKercher and Shaw, a bit of a touch in the front straight here as Will Shaw. Big outside lunge in turn number 2. They're 3 wide. He's on the outside of Cruz Farrell, as does Reese Meekins on the low line. The V85, who actually has raced in a national title, A main previously 3 years ago in Maryborough in Queensland, moves up into 6th place. Barton is now 7th from Farrell, McKercher, Oliver, and Alex McMillan out of Tasmania rounds them out. The River Spitzbath from P10, he's up in 6. He's just 11 years of age. He's already the Northern Territory number 3. Feature race wins at Darwin, Catherine and Tennant Creek last year in 2021. And he's an absolute superstar already in the Hammond Tyre and Exhaust. Brumfield's backed at number 43. He now leads heat number 7. The Total Autos Pakenham, heat race number 7. Logan Mayer back to 2nd. He's got the South Australia 9 of Lachlan Brown. His dad, Terry Brown, a very handy modified sedan driver in South Australia. And the 9, who is a member at the Murray Bridge Sporting Car Club, is officially 3rd. Will Shaw from P11 is now 4th. And the V15 from Adam Holt Industries out of Mildura. Reese Meekins is 5th from Harry Cecil. Karina Barton is back there in the V19 from Cruz Farrell. And McKercher further back in the 33. Christine Oliver in 62. And McMillan rounding them out in the T24. But not too many laps remaining here in heat number 7, the final heat of the opening round of this year's national title. We've got 21 heats in total this afternoon here at the Alexandra Speedway, just going past 20 past 3 local time. And 1 to run for Spitzbath. His quick time so far at 22.116. Leading Mayer, Brown, Shaw and Meekins your top 5. Barton, Cecil, Farrell, McKercher, Christine Oliver and McMillan at the back of the field. But through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. There's a little bit of a moment, but that won't worry him. Just 11 years of age. River Spitzbath from the Northern Territory takes heat race number 7. From Logan Mayer, Lachlan Brown, Will Shaw, Reese Meekins your top 5. After that was the 19, the V19 of Barton, Harry Cecil in the 21. 8th was McKercher in the T33. In fact, it was Cruz Farrell in the V25 from McKercher in 9th. Christine Oliver was 10th in the V62 and 7th. And 11th and rounding them out was the T24 of Alex McMillan. And just repeating that quick time of the race for River Spitzbath at 22.116. Outstanding stuff by the driver of the Northern Territory, 43.
So this car has certainly travelled some kilometres to make this one happen. For choices, flooring, we're removing the window net now and he'll receive the Speedway Australia cap. And of course the heat race winner board for the 2022 Razzler Junior Sedan national title. Just removing the helmet now. And the balaclava. It's a cracking drive, ladies and gentlemen, for the NT43. He's just receiving the board now. River Spitzbath. Make plenty of noise. Mate, hell of a drive. You don't take up much room in this car, that's for sure, but you did everything right on the racetrack then, man. This thing is wheeling.
Yeah, thank you.
You've got to be happy with that. This car is gorgeous as well. Choices flooring on board. Mate, who else would you like to thank for that drive?
Mum and Dad and Clutchy for helping me. Yeah.
Good luck for the rest of the weekend, River. I'm sure you've done plenty of people proud from up in the Northern Territory. You've got to be stoked with that one, mate. We'll see you back in heat race number 2 later on.
Yep.
Doesn't say a lot, but he lets his driving do the talking. River Spitzbath does not take up a lot of room in that race car at all.
Oh, it's He's making hard work for you out there, Liam.
Australia number 1, make plenty of noise for Brock Atkins outside. Row number 2, down the back straightaway, we're rolling. Casey Garlick inside row number 3. On her outside, the Victorian modified sedan champion of Kaya Walters. Inside your final, row number 4, Brad Warren. And on his outside, Todd Atkins in the 36. Green flag here at Alexandra. Drew it to the top side. Christie tries to lock it down low. Here comes Atkins on your back straight away. Side by side, they're going to run into turn 3. Coming off 4, Atkins puts a big move on Christie. The pair of Falcons, nothing in it on the back straightaway. Throw in the Victorian champion of Kai Walters as well. And this is a battle for 2, 3 and 4. Jake Druitt has stepped out of this one. He's got 5 car lengths back to Atkins, who's in 2 from Christie, from Walters, and here comes Todd Atkins now as well in the BA Falcon. Casey Garlick and Brad Warren. Paul at the tail. Struggling a little bit with that car right now. So Jake Druitt continues to lead. 4 car lengths over Atkins in the Wadea Works Trick Engine Developments. Australia number 1 from Brodie Christie in the Perry Family Farms 32. A bit of a push from Walters, who runs in 4th. Todd Atkins up to position 5. Here comes a battle for the lead coming off turn 4. Atkins really up inside the grill of Druitt now. The Maxi Moves, Elite Shock Services, SA number 1 leads, but for how long, as the Australian champion is right on the doorstep. Atkins up the inside, continuing to look lap after lap. Big move up the inside, still not able to make the overlap, and it's Druitt that still leads. The battle on is a group of them, Druitt and Atkins, and we're back to Christie and Walters who fight it out. Todd Atkins is trying to get in close enough range as well. Hasn't been able to do it so far, so laps wind down. In the opening modified sedan heat race of the night, Atkins is still digging the inside on Druitt. Druitt has that track position. They're going to come up on lap traffic now, and this could be important as I say that. Paul pulls infield, and he's going to retire from this one. Druitt keeps it wound up on the top. Atkins on the bottom from Christie, from Walters. Todd Atkins a bit of a further gap back. This is going to come right down to the line. It's a checkered flag at the ready. Atkins and Druitt. Nothing in it. I think it's going to be Druitt. From Brock Atkins back to Brodie Christie, Kaya Walters, Todd Atkins, Casey Garlick and Brad Warren in the Quick Time Automotive 84. Ladies and gentlemen, make plenty of noise for Jake Druitt. He's going to get the job done in the opening heat race of the night. And Brock Atkins, didn't he put the whip to it right at the end when it mattered? Not able to get the win, but didn't he put on a show up that inside lane? So the South Australian champion pulls to the infield now for 4-4 Manufacturing and the Motorhouse Mildura. It's just going to remove the race gear. Maxi Moves on board. The Mildura number 18, Marshall Custom Cams. Plenty of guys on the crew of this race car out of Mildura. They're supporting the junior sedan boys. There's so many of them out of Mildura, Victoria, making the trek down as well. Just waiting for him to remove the helmet piping. And the balaclava now for the South Australian champion. Folks, put your hands together for Jake the Snake Druitt. Gets the job done in the opening heat race of the modified sedans. VMPA Tritech Lubricants Series. Snake, you got to be happy with that one. You had the national champion right there on the door, but never gave him enough room to make a pass.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on behind me. I was going in pretty hard at the start, and I think I had pretty good pace the first few laps, but car was a bit gnarly on the ruts or the bumps that are going on with the cush pushing up there. So I sort of try to take it a little bit easy, just to try and protect the bottom a bit more. And you know, probably gave away too much pace, so I'll just make some changes to the car when we go back in and make it better for that. And yeah, track's good. Just thanks to everyone who's helped me get here. Big thanks to the VMPA Tri-Tech Series and everyone involved, Speedway Sedans, who are doing a great job. So yeah, cheers. Thanks to you.
Thanks, Snakey. This will be a cool second round of heat races, not too far away. A little bit of moisture going down on the racetrack again, and they're going to keep rolling it in and keeping the surface up here at Alexandra Speedway. Commodore on his outside. Matt Nelson driving the AX61. Inside row number 3. Scotty Angus driving the N72 on his outside. The N71 of Peter Angus, and rounding out the field, John Dyke in the N37, set for a launch. It's a belter by Wilson, but here comes Simpson up the inside. Big lock up of that left front, and he coasts up to P2. Had a big look at the lead, but wasn't able to. Had to back out of it as Wilson had that line shot down. Here comes Nello, searching through the bottom. Simpson right across the bottom now as well. Putting the move on Wilson. And he gets the job done there. Simpson up to P1. Here comes Matt Nelson by on the bottom too. So Wilson's lost 3 cars now. Just slows a little bit on that outer groove of the racetrack, and it allows Angus through as well. And starts Graham West now too. Matt Nelson hammers away at the HO33 of Daniel Simpson. Here in heat race number 1B. Simpson has it locked solid right now, but he's got Matt Nelson giving him hell from behind. Angus up to 3 from Graham West, from Darcy Wilson, from John Dyke in the 37 at the tail, and Peter Angus, the Ramsdale Wreckers, 71 rather. So Daniel Simpson continues to lead for the Horsham Auto Wreckers. Number 33, Commodore, looks good out in front. He's starting to distance himself from Nelson now as well. Big Dan will be stoked with this one to get the job done. Had a cracking effort at the National Modified Sedan title, looked fast doing it, just got caught up in a lot of accidents. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, so he'd be happy to get a heat win back for this HO33 team. Really starting to put the distance back to Matt Nelson now for second. Coming out of 3 and 4 as the laps wind down. 2 to run this time. White flag out next time by. Simpson down the back straightaway. Has nearly that full straightaways distance back to Nello in the 61. Angus is closing that gap ever so slightly up to Nello. But Simpson has this thing shot to bits right now. Daniel Simpson, a straightaways lead over Matt Nelson. The car looked fast from the opening lap, and he's continued to pull away here at Alexandra Speedway through turns 3 and 4 for the final time this heat race. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Simpson gets the win comfortably. The black flag coming out for someone as well. It might have been Angus at the tail. So Matt Nelson picks up second, from Scotty Angus third, Graham West fourth, Darcy Wilson 5, John Dyke and Peter Angus. I'm not exactly sure who that black flag was coming out for. We'll stop and grab a chat with Daniel Simpson as he pulls up on the main straightaway here, and we'll have a quick chat about his efforts there in heat race number 1B. He'd be stoked wheeling the Commodore to the top step there. We'll just bring him in and wait for the window net to come down for Bratt Race Suspension and Horsham Auto Works. He's going to keep rolling, not quite able to get the interview in, I'm thinking. So struggling with something inside that car. He was looking around. So, yeah, that would be the answer, was that the black flag was handed down to Daniel Simpson. So I'll find out the exact call and where the moment was made. But Simpson, I think, was the black flag. So not stoked with that result at all. They're all banked up.
Number 8 albeit in the borrowed car. He'll go from P7 with a V49, borrowing the Riley Lawrence Lancer. I guess that both drivers racing, Lawrence and Jaden Bryant, both drive Mitsubishi Lancers, so I guess that is one benefit for Jaden Bryant. But we're all set to go with heat number 8, Bacchus Marsh Towing, bringing you this opening heat of the second round of competition. Just approaching 10 to 4 local time here in Victoria. Alexandra in Victoria to be exact. Mitchell McClure and Rye Orm, 2 Victorian drivers on the front row. And straight away, Brandon Austin to the inside, gets into the side of Rye Orm. Bit of contact as they entered turn number 1. And we continue on. The green lights stay on. And Mitchell McClure has the nose in front. Brandon Austin and the Queensland champion, Aiden Rigby, on the charge, as is the Tasmanian champion, Nate Garwood. Speaking of Tasmania, Brandon Austin hits the race lead as they exit turn number 4. Aiden Rigby following him on the outside. Rigby ducks to the inside of Brandon Austin as they enter turn number 1. Mitchell McClure goes back to 3rd place after leading the opening circulation. And Stevie Smith from P10 is up in the 5th in the Tasmania 73. So the drivers from the Apple Isle making their presence felt in heat number 8. Brought to you by Bacchus Marsh Towing as Harry Fowler and Stevie Smith make a bit of contact on the exit of turn number 4. Jaden Bryant. Rye Orm, who started on the front row originally, trying to get amongst it further back is Matilda Farrell. And rounding him out, the V29 of Jasmine Bryant, a member here at Alexandra. But the Tasmania 65, he's been quick all weekend inside the top 10 in official practice yesterday afternoon. That's Brandon Austin in the Tasmania 65, leading the Q28 from the Gympie Saloon Car Club of Aiden Rigby. Nate Garwood in the Tasmania 77. Has no roof plate on the car. He's running his T77 this weekend, but he's got Tasmania 1 on the door. He sits in 3rd. Harry Fowler and Mitchell McClure side by side as they enter turn number 3. And the young man from the Gold Coast, the Q23 of Harry Fowler, moves into 4th. McClure trying to go with him. But here comes Aiden Rigby to the inside of Austin. Bit of a touch between the two of them as they went through turns 1 and 2. Rigby now goes to the outside of the racetrack, past the Raslar Engineering sign into turn number 3, past the Foodworks sign as well as they enter the front straight once more here at the Alexandra Speedway. Very picturesque, one of the most picturesque speedways in Australia. And Austin and Rigby having a great scrap for the lead here in heat number 8. It's Austin and Rigby, the two of them. They've got a handicap back to the Tasmanian champion, Nate Garwood, who's starting to make his presence felt early in the weekend. Harry Fowler, Mitchell McClure, your top 5. Stevie Smith, Jaden Bryant in the substitute car is 6th, and Rye Orm is 7th. And Aiden Rigby has 2 laps remaining of the Alexandra Speedway to find a way past Brandon Austin. He just tries to muscle to the inside as they exit turn 2. Austin fighting back. It's Mitsubishi Mirage versus the Hyundai Excel of Brandon Austin! Upside down in a big way. The Tasmania 65 has unfortunately come to grief in turns 3 and 4. And the red lights will come on. We'll head on down. We'll get our crash crew on the job straight away to make sure young Brandon Austin, the Tasmania 65, is A-OK. Okay, Alexandra Speedway, let's have a round of applause for Brandon Austin. Our stewarding team are telling us that he's A-OK down there in turns 3 and 4. He's climbed from the Hyundai Excel, talking to our crash crew and also our ambulance officers as well. We thank all of those people for being trackside this weekend to make this race meeting possible for all of our competitors. But Brandon Austin is A-OK, which is absolutely fantastic to find out the driver of the T65 who led that heat race for a fair way. Unfortunately, just come to grief in turns 3 and 4, a heavy crash. Our second rollover of the weekend, Brandon Storer in the Q4, unfortunately, came to grief in turn 2 in official practice yesterday afternoon. Now, Brandon Austin, who was showing plenty of car speed this weekend, the Tasmania 65 Hyundai Excel, will take no further part in this race at the very least. But hopefully Brandon can bounce back, if not for this weekend, then the Victorian title next weekend. But we might go back to a little bit of music from the local radio here in central Victoria, and then we'll be back with the resumption of heat race number 8 of this weekend's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. Your 9 cars that remain in this heat race, which has 2 laps remaining. Aiden Rigby, can he become the first driver of the weekend to record multiple heat race victories? The lone driver in the field this weekend from the Gympie Saloon Car Club, leads them into turn number 1. The resumption of heat 8. Our biggest crash of the national title so far occurring in this heat race a few moments ago. Brandon Austin unfortunately coming to grief. And Mitchell McClure, about halfway along the back straight then as he just went past the Tyre Power Alexandra sign, made a bit of a mistake and has given up 4th place to Stevie Smith, who now has Jaden Bryant working down the inside in car number 49. Muscles to the inside does Jaden Bryant in the substitute car. But down the back straight for the last time, Aiden Rigby on his way to collecting another heat race win in this weekend's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. Bring him home, the Queensland champion. Gets it done from another Queenslander. Harry Fowler steals second on the line from Nate Garwood. Jaden Bryant will be 4th from Stevie Smith, Mitchell McClure. Rye Orme was 7th from Matilda Farrell and Jasmine Bryant. Your 9 finishes here in heat race number 8. Brandon Austin credited with 10th place finishing points, and Billy McDonald did not start in the Q2 after finding the concrete wall in the opening round of heats. But Aiden Rigby, a very, doesn't say too much off the racetrack, but a very, very handy race car driver, and has a huge future in our sport, and is performing to his very best early in this weekend's national title. And we're going to have a chat to him very shortly.
So he goes back-to-back heat race wins here at Alexandra Speedway. Aiden Rigby, you've got to be satisfied with that so far.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race until, I don't know his name, sorry. But he went over. It's a really bad thing to happen, but yeah, I'm really sorry to him. But I'm happy the motor wasn't running too good in the first heat, but I think we got that problem fixed, and yeah, just can't thank everyone enough.
It was a cracking race with you guys out in front. He's able to walk away A-OK, and that's the main thing. He'll live to fight another day, and they'll repair that car and hopefully get back out there. It's just getting the check over, mate. You got to be stoked with this one. To bring it down from Gympie and put this 28 on the top step 2 times in a row, you got to be happy with that one. Back out in round number 3 later on. Good luck, Aiden Rigby.
Thank you.
Got it all dialed together in the Keeper Engineering Group, Process-Driven Solutions, the Queensland champion.
Here in Victoria, nice and early still in other parts of the country, about 3:30 South Australia, Northern Territory, and just past 2 o'clock in the west. So full field of 11 to go around in this heat race number 9. Kane Della with some work to do. A heat race winner in the opening round. He won heat 5. He goes from position number 9 here in heat race number 9. But it's a Tasmanian and a Victorian on the front row. The 2 Hyundai Excels of Mick Millen and Cecil, your front row. They're 2 and 3 wide at the start. Straight away, McKercher, who raced here a couple of weeks ago and had a feature race win, getting amongst it, and Jaden Hancock getting excited as well in the Q7. But our chief steward for the weekend, Alan Jennings, not happy with that start at all. Second time this weekend, he's second one today that he's pulled up early. So a complete restart to come. Just a reminder for the race fans that are here at Alexandra Speedway, we got the official merchandise of this weekend's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title available for purchase in the front straight, as well as plenty of other bits and pieces in the merchandise side of things to do with the Alexandra Speedway and stuff like that, if you want a memento of this weekend. Plenty to eat, plenty of food on offer at the canteen here in the front straight, and coffee van as well, if that's what you desire at this point in time. I think a coffee might be the trick in a couple of hours' time when the sun goes down. That is for sure. And wherever you're watching from around the country, we hope you're enjoying the coverage, courtesy of the team, Speedway Sedans Live, powered by Pro One Race Parts. We're streaming on the Ash Media Facebook page today and tomorrow and next weekend at Kingaroy, the SSA National Production Sedan title. Good mix of Queenslanders, Victorians, Tasmanians, and a West Australian in this particular heat race, heat number 9. So come out of turn number 4 once more. We'll get a second attempt at a start. And much better dispatch this time around. And Harry Cecil in the V21 started on the outside of the front row, and he's going to be the one who leads him through turn 1 and turn 2 into the back straight for the first of 8 occasions. Jaden Hancock, as you'd expect, always makes his presence felt in the Q7 out of Maryborough. On the Fraser Coast of Queensland, he's up into second place around the outside of his fellow Sunshine State driver in Cooper Reid. McKercher on the charge in the Tasmania 33 has another Lancer to the inside of McKercher in Cooper Flynn. So it's Cooper Reid and Cooper Flynn, the two Coopers, both out of Queensland, 3rd and 5th at the moment. They're split by McKercher out of Tasmania in the T33. And Jaden Hancock now hits the front as he exits turn 4. The Q7 takes a lead from Harry Cecil. As McKercher trying to find a way past Reid in front. Flynn sits in 5th, and Kane Della, who's come from P90, moves up into 5th place as Kane Della in the KCL decleaning 95. He goes into 4th as they enter turn number 3 to the inside of McKercher. Bit of a touch between the Tasmanian and the West Australian on the exit of turn 4, and Della just has to try and gather up the 95 car. Has given away a spot to the Alexandra 93 of Seth Sloan. Karina Barton is amongst it, as well as Liam Cameron in the Queensland 22 out of Rockhampton. As they hustle down the back straight here at Alexandra to our SSA Junior Sedans into turn number 3, past the Food Work sign into the front straight, and Jaden Hancock knew he had to get amongst it here in heat number 9, and he's doing a great job. This heat race brought to you by Pakenham Towing. It's Jaden Hancock from Harry Cecil to be happy with second place at the moment in the V21. We got Reid in 17, McKercher and Kane Della again to the outside. A big outside lunge into turn number 3. The 95 3/4 track high, digging on the outside, and he might have moved into 4th place. There's the 95, the 3rd of the Della siblings to race junior sedans at a national level. And now he goes into 3rd. Finished 3rd in the state title in Western Australia earlier this year. Did Kane Della. He's had a heat win and he's on the charge. He's come from P9 and he's up into 3rd place with just a couple of laps remaining of the Alexandra Speedway. It's all Jaden Hancock from Harry Cecil, who just had a bit of a moment. He might have a flat right rear tyre in the V21. In fact, he does, as it's all happening further back. Cooper Flynn, I think, has just kissed the concrete wall and has got damage to the right front corner. The 27, McKercher, caught up in it as well. Kyra McKercher in the T33 caught up in it as well, so we'll pick him up.
Victoria, all going on the line at Heartland Raceway, Moama on the 17th as well. So keep that in the calendar. If you can't make it to the Easter Trail or you can't make it to Mildura, which you need to find some time to do if you haven't been before as well, get yourself there. Otherwise, the Victorian title and the new North-South 50-lapper for Super Sedans going down at Heartland Raceway, Moama.
Yeah, big weekend ahead. Next weekend at Easter, but we've got a National Junior Sedan title to run this weekend here at Alexandra, and we've got heat race number 9 back underway. And Kane Della, what has he got for Jaden Hancock? These final 2 laps, he looks to the inside as they exit turn number 2, the 95. Might have the nose in front by turn number 3 as they race past the smooth suspension sign into the front straight. And Kane Della looking to join Aiden Rigby as a repeat winner in this opening 2 rounds of competition in this year's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. Jaden Hancock, the Q7, trying to fight back, but I think the KCLD cleaning 95 might have the heat race win in his keepings. He negotiates turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Bring him home, Alexandra. Kane Della from Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. Back-to-back heat race wins, just like Aiden Rigby in the previous race ahead of him. Jaden Hancock, a nice drive for second from Cooper Reid. And after that, Seth Sloan and Karina Barton were battling over fourth place. We'll give you that official result. We'll just jump on the two different apps that are available, Race Monitor and Speed Hive. After that was Liam Cameron, Tamika Simpson also out there as well. In fact, it was Karina Barton getting fourth, just narrowly ahead of Seth Sloan, Liam Cameron, Alex McMillan, and Tamika Simpson. Unfortunately, Harry Cecil, Cooper Flynn, and Kira McKercher not going the distance. But Kane Della, a nice job to go from P9 to record his second heat race win.
So driving the W95, and he too goes back-to-back heat race victories here at the Razzler Junior Sedan National Title. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Kane Della. Man, you had to work hard for that one. It certainly wasn't the start you'd have liked. You were bunched up with a couple of cars that just couldn't get off the line, but man, you went to work after that.
Yeah, that start wasn't the best, but the brakes went really hard after that, and they weren't working too well. So I don't know if there's something broken, but we'll go check it all over and get it back ready for the third heat. Yeah, just massive thanks to Mum and Dad for getting me over here, and my last ever experience in an Oz title. Yeah, can't wait for the end of the result over the weekend.
So where are you heading to after the junior sedans? What's the next ranked in line for you?
I got a straight stock sitting at home race ready, so I'm keen to jump into that.
Beautiful. Good luck in your very final National Junior Sedan title. Doing the good job so far. 2 heat wins. Got to continue that on in round number 3.
Gonna give it a go, yeah, cheers.
Lent his car to Jaden Bryan a couple of races ago. Riley Lawrence and the V85 of Reese Meekins is your starting lineup. And he's seeing the 10 cars at this point in time. Looks like we're missing the V66 of Maddie Capon is the one not out there in this heat race. He's missed the call for heat number 9. So 10 starters will go round, and he will be led by the driver who hails from the southern half of Tasmania, Braden Kane, your pole sitter, and he has the V12 of Nathan Miles starting on his outside. We're racing in heat number 10. And Nathan Miles, a great start from the outside of the front row. Brody Day, the WA8 trying to follow him around as Kane and Miles have got together. They've straightened themselves up. And we've gone yellow. Two guys came together and a couple of cars got inconvenienced on that opening couple of corners. So we'll pick them up with a complete restart. Brody Day got a pretty good start, as did Bo Oldfield and Reese Meekins as well. In the 85, a little contact on the left door of the V12 of Nathan Miles. You can see the evidence of those two cars coming together. Braden Kane in the 23 out of Tasmania in the V12 of Nathan Miles. So we'll pick him up with a complete restart here in heat race number 10. 21 heats on day number 1. The Tritec Lubricants Modified Sedans will be back out at the conclusion of the second round of competition. This year's National Junior Sedan title. So 10 cars remain with 8 laps ahead of them in this heat race, brought to you by Graham and Diane Randall. Up in the high country here in central Victoria, first ever national title that the Alexandra District Speedway Club have hosted in their history. Fantastic community-orientated club here in Victoria. Fantastic racetrack as well at their disposal, over 600 metres in circumference. And we're back underway with Heat 12. And once again, Brody Day got a great start from the outside of the second row. The young man out of Narrogin, who was third in the national title 2 years ago when it was held over in Western Australia. They're 3 wide for the lead. Brody Day, Brandon Kane, as Day and Oldfield and Patterson all come together here in the front straight. Bo Oldfield has managed to get through that mess up into third place in the red line roll cages 84. There's a little bit going on further back in the field between Oliver and also Reese Meekins, but the race continues. And Nathan Miles has the lead momentarily. Braden Kane, a big lunge into turn number 3. The Tasmania 23 trying to go right around the outside. of our race leader as Bo Oldfield ranges up alongside of Braden Kane. And the West Australian champion moves into second down the inside. Brody Day goes three-quarter track high. The two West Australians are side by side. Oldfield on the low line. Brody Day on the outside. They're side by side as they head past the Rassler Engineering sign into turn number 3. Braden Kane and also Patterson trying to stay amongst it as well. That being young Lincoln Patterson in the V48 from right here at Alexandra. Smooth suspension backing his efforts this weekend. And he sits in 4th. Lachlan Brown from Murray Bridge in South Australia is 6th. He's amongst it as well as of Riley Lawrence in the VA66. They're going to be 3 wide for second as they enter turn number 3. Past the Foodworks side. Oh, no! It's all gone wrong in turns 3 and 4 between Oldfield, Lachlan Brown, and also Riley Lawrence. The right front appears to have collapsed on the 84 car of Bo Oldfield, and he's just jumped on the brakes, and unfortunately, with competitors so close near him, they were battling pretty hard, and the red lights have come on. That was a heavy crash, and you got to feel for the South Australia 9, Lachlan Brown, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm not sure how you saw that one, Liam, down there on the infield. But unfortunately, Bo Oldfield, as he was making his presence felt here in heat race number 10, looking for some big points, has come to grief.
Yeah, and it was a pretty fair hit from behind as well, and those cars just had nowhere to go as Oldfield was parked up right on the outside race in the middle of this one as well. Patterson has got some work to do. So lights are going to go out. We're going to go green, nice and early, Smalley. So much to play for.
There is indeed. We've still got 5 laps remaining in this heat race. Remarkable. Felt like they were had done plenty of laps. Such was the fierce racing at the front of the field. We're back underway. We're not even halfway home here in heat number 10. And Brody Day's found a bit of racetrack that he likes up there in turn number 1. Just goes a little bit higher than everyone else in this heat race. He's now 3/4 track high on the outside of Nathan Miles. Just gives the brakes a little bit of a touch to straighten the car up. And Patterson on the low line, digging big time in the V48. Here comes Lincoln. The Rassler Engineering, brand new panels on the Lancer for this weekend. Huge family-backed effort in this weekend's national title. And we've got a failure on the right front corner. The 64 of James Oliver. As he's turned into the corner, the car has just not gone to the left. And it's exited stage right into the concrete wall. And at the back is Marsh Towing. Charade has come to grief in heat number 10.
It's been grueling, hasn't it? So much going on from the front to the finish. And becoming a race of attrition in this one. The car's getting pulled to a stop here on the main straightaways. The crews head up after stepping up into that modified sedan rank from the juniors. He's done everything right since then. Set for a start again, Smalley. Hopefully to get this one in the books this time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Riley Lawrence is headed to the infield after we went back to yellow. So just 6 cars remain in heat number 10. The Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. Brody Day just runs a little bit wide on the exit of turn number 2. Might have opened the door for the Tasmania 23 of Braden Kane to find a way past. Reese Meekins, who's qualified for a national title, A-Main in Junior Sedans Maryborough 3 years ago in Queensland, trying to work his way forward. There's Lincoln Patterson, 3/4 track high to the outside of the V12 of Nathan Miles. Can he find a way past? The 2 Lancers run 1-2 from Brody Day. In the WA8 from Narrogin in Western Australia sits in 3rd. Braden Kane from Tasmania in the V85 of Reese Meekins, your top 5, and rounding them out, another Victorian in Jacob Tinworth. But Nathan Miles is just doing enough to stay in front at the moment, holding off that Rassler Engineering back Lancer of Lincoln Patterson. The Alexandra 48. He's trying to find a way past. He's got smooth suspension helping his cause this weekend. He goes 3/4 track high once again, does Lincoln. Digging on the outside of Nathan Miles. They're side by side down the front straight. Miles, Patterson, 1 lap remains of Alexandra. And can Brody Day upstage the 2 Victorians? He's right there with them. He's already had a 2nd place this weekend in the national title. Brody Day will be looking for some more points here in heat race number 10. They're side by side into turn number 3 for the final time. Nathan Miles is just going to run Lincoln Patterson wide on the exit of turn number 4. And Brody Day is going to move into 2nd, but Nathan Miles will get the heat race win from Day. Patterson, Reese Meekins will be 4th. Further back to Braden Kane and Jacob Tinworth, your 6 finishes here in heat race number 10, the Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. That one was brought to you by the fantastic folks in fact, it was Graham and Diane Randall bringing you heat race number 10. But let's hear it, Victoria, for Nathan Miles, the winner of heat 10 in the V12 Mitsubishi Lancer.
So, driving the Automotive Performance Specialists and Pakenham accident. He's going to receive the Speedway Australia hat, and he's stoked with it too. He's going to hold the winner's board. For Miles Mechanical, Shoreline Pest Control and Pakenham Accident Repairs. Wise Steel Sales on the front as well. Man, you've got to be stoked with that one, Victoria. Give it up for Nathan Miles driving the 12. Man, that was a long, grueling race, but you were right there when it mattered.
Yeah, look, it was a really long race. And I was like, you know, sitting on the yellows, just wanted to go, get the race over and done with. I'd like to thank all the sponsors on the car, first of all. I'd like to thank all my pit crew for the night. I'd like to thank all the other drivers, SSA for putting on the event, Alexandra for holding a great venue for tonight, and, you know, thank you.
Nathan, how good does this feel, mate? You're ecstatic with this win. Just how good does it feel to win a heat race at the national title?
Yeah, look, we're going up against the best of the best. It's really good to feel how the feeling of winning. You know, it's just, I'm lost for words.
Congratulations, mate. Good luck in round number 3 later on. This thing's a bullet right now. You've got to be happy.
Yeah, I really am. Thanks to everyone that's helped put the car together.
Congratulations. Make plenty of noise, Victoria. Nathan Miles gets the job done in the Miles Mechanical number V12. He's ecstatic with that one, and he heads back to the pits. Very well spoken, and he was pumped up with that win. You should have seen him moving around the cockpit of the N12.
In the 2018 national title in Darwin and 2019 at Maryborough in Queensland. So the family based out of Renmark in South Australia have certainly done the kilometres around the country. For young Corey to race in national titles. He has his younger brother Max in the field this weekend, but the driver of the South Australia 16 will lead him to the green flag as they come out of turn number 4 and into the front straight. Heat 11 is underway, and Lockie Robbins, a great start from the outside of the front row. The Tasmania 48, Curtis Peel got amongst it early this afternoon in his opening qualifying heat of this year's national title, and the young fella from Bundaberg is up into third quickly here in heat 11. He's behind the V51 of Jack Randall. Randall in the Lancer sits in second from Peel. Sophie Santin, the Santin Quarry Products Lancer, who been ravaged by floods in northern New South Wales in recent times. Do feel for the folks up there, particularly involved with the Lismore Speedway. They're going through a bit of a hard time at the moment. It's great to see the Santin family down here this weekend racing in the national title. Jackson Goldie has now moved into 5th place, down the inside of the 62 of Christine Oliver and the 51 of Lockie Bull. In the 69, rounding them out is Jessica O'Donnell, and actually further back is Corey Richter, who's well off the pace. The South Australia 16 and Michaela Riley has taken the T14 to the infield. All out of noise in the Mitsubishi Lancer. But Lockie Robbins, who's had a very productive season racing at home in Tasmania and also in the mainland, has a car in each part of the country at his disposal. He even said to me last night they've been racking up the frequent flyer miles this season racing across the country. As Curtis Peel just give Jack Randall a little bit of a touch, trying to unsettle the 51 in front of him. As our leaders will come up on the S16 of Corey Richter in a few moments' time. He just seems a little bit off the pace, just rolling on the bottom side of the racetrack. And the Datsun Sunny. And Curtis Peel now clearly in second place. Moved down the inside of Jack Randall. Jackson Goldie and Sophie Santin battling for 4th and 5th as they race their way past the Campton Graphics and Signage sign into turn number 3. I think Jackson Goldie, 2 New South Wales drivers battling over 4th and 5th place, and I think Jackson Goldie's got it done on Sophie Santin, the New South Wales 18, Christine Oliver, Lockie Bull, the VA 51 further back, and then we've got the V69, Jessica O'Donnell. Corey Richter has decided to take his car to the infield in the S16. He'll take no further part in heat 11. But Lockie Robbins doing a great job out in front. The Tasmania number 48, just keeping enough of a gap between himself and the Q11 of Curtis Peel, who's already had a runner-up finish in the national title in his opening heat race of the weekend. as our SSA Junior Sedans with just 1 lap remaining of the Alexandra Speedway in Heat 11. And Lockie Robbins, his quick time, a 22.230. Curtis Peel closing in as they enter turn number 1 for the final time. Can the driver of the Q11 Daihatsu Charade find a way past the Mitsubishi product in front of him of Lockie Robbins? They enter turn number 3 for the final time. Curtis Peel had a little bit of a look, gets a little bit untidy, and he'll have to settle for second as Lockie Robbins collects the heat race win from Peel. Jack Randall, Jackson Goldie will be 4th. Further back to the N18 of Sophie Santin, VA51 of Lockie Bull, V62 of Christine Oliver, in the V69 of Jessica O'Donnell will be your 8 cars to complete the 8 laps. Credited with 9th will be the S16 of Corey Richter, and credited with 10th will be the T14 of Michaela Riley. But a Tasmanian heat race win goes the way of Lockie Robbins in the T48. As I mentioned, he was the state champion on the Apple Isle last season, and he's going to have a chat to Liam Oranger in just a few moments' time.
So he wears a new Speedway Australia cap and he has a heat race winner board to take back home. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lockie Robbins. Takes out the heat race victory here at the Rasler National Junior Sedan title. Lockie, got to be stoked with that one, mate. Peel pushed you right to the line, but you hung on and got the job done.
Yeah, that was wicked.
Got to be stoked with that one, mate. Who have you got to thank on the side of this car?
Oh, I know I forget someone, but everyone that helps out. Nicole and Rob from Vegetation Victoria, that they do heaps for me. Padgett Spinebark, Delran Tyre Service, Spalding Drillers, Walters Contracting, Chic Hair, Simo's Five Glass, Angry Man Photography, U3 Designs, and Mum, Dad, all my sisters, Kurt, everyone. It's just great.
You going to change much for round number 3, or pretty happy with how the car feels right now?
Don't know yet.
Make it up and we go back down the pits. Congratulations on the heat race victory, mate. We look to see you in heat race number 3, not too far away. Congratulations. It's Lockie Robbins heads the 48 back to the pits for Spalding Drillers on the side.
74 cars have raced today. We did have 75 cars in the pit area to start the national title. Unfortunately, Braden Storer going upside down yesterday afternoon in official practice will not race over the 2 days here at Alexandra. But Tyler Scott, his fellow clubmate out of Kalgoorlie, Kane Dellas, had a great start to the national title with 2 heat race wins. Tyler Scott will be looking to make the best of his pole position start here in heat number 12 of the Rasler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. We're racing in this heat race, and Tyler Scott, pole sitter out of Western Australia, got a great start. And Will Shaw came from the back of the bus in his opening heat race, the V15 for Adam Holt Industries out of Mildura. And he starts a little bit closer to the front of the field. What can he do in this heat race? Aaron Tranter and also Tanner Barclay have made good starts. And the Queensland 12, Brody Holloman on the low line of Tyler Scott. And the young fella out of Southeast Queensland hits the race lead. Will Shaw to the outside. And the V15 might be in the race lead very shortly. Ranges up alongside of Brody Holloman. It's Holloman on the low line. Shaw on the outside in the V15. The Green Machine is 3/4 track high here at Alexandra. Got a little bit untidy as Tyler Scott runs wide, falls back to 5th place. And Bree Simpson is storming towards the front of the field in the V10. Got the South Australian champion and Aaron Tranter for company. This is a pretty fast heat race in progress at the moment as the SSA Junior Sedans fly around the Alexandra Speedway here in central Victoria. And Will Shaw is 3/4 track high again on Brody Holloman. Can he find a way past? It's the Queensland 12 of Brody Holloman holding off the V15 of Will Shaw. Simpson, Aaron Tranter, the South Australian champion, is 4th. Tyler Scott's gone back to 5th from Tanner Barclay. Ryland Peck is 7th. Blake Glynn is 8th. Further back, Cameron Smith. Then we've got Cruz Farrell and Chase Doherty. That's the way the 11 cars run in heat number 12 as Aaron Tranter slapped the concrete wall on the exit of turn number 4. Hopefully not too much damage to the S45, but he falls back to 5th place. Tanner Barclay now moves into 4th. Past Tranter, who's gone back to 5th from Ryland Peck. Tyler Scott has now fell back to 7th. He's got now Cameron Smith finding a way past him in the V14, who's also out of Mildura, as is Will Shaw, who runs in 2nd place, throwing everything at our race leader, the Queensland number 12 of Brody Holloman, who had an outstanding drive at what you call his home track at Toowoomba a few weeks ago, one of his home tracks up there in southeast Queensland in the All-Star Series, which is brought to you by Speedway Sedans Australia this season at Toowoomba. And Holloman has Shaw and Simpson, the two Victorians, trying to find a way past. Aaron Tranter is on the comeback trail after finding the concrete wall a couple of laps ago to the inside of Tanner Barclay. They're side by side for 4th and 5th as they exit turn 2 and head down the back straight. Tranter on the low line, Barclay on the outside, and I think Tranter might have 4th place momentarily. But the lead is still line astern, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. It's Hollyman, Shaw and Bree Simpson with 1 lap remaining of Alexandra. Aaron Tranter is 4th from Tanner Barclay, your top 5. Ryland Peck, Cameron Smith, Blake Lynn and Tyler Scott further back. As our leaders head off into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Hollywood in a little bit of a moment mid-corner, but I think he's going to do enough to narrowly prevail over Will Shaw. Great drive by Brodie Holliman to win Heat 12. And the 15, the V15 of Will Shaw, the V10 of Bree Simpson will be 3rd. Aaron Tranter, Tanner Barclay, your top 5. From Ryland Peck, Cameron Smith in the V14 was 7th. The V8 of Blake Glynn was 8th. 9th was the 08 out of Western Australia of Tyler Scott. Further back was Cruz Farrell and Chase Doherty. We went that one green to checker without a stoppage, which has been rare here in this second round of heats. The quick time for Brodie Holliman at 22.319. It was Cruz Farrell officially 10th and Chase Doherty officially 11th. They're in heat race number 12.
And driving for True Design Homes and Hollyman's Electrical Solutions. Just removing the balaclava and the receiver as well, and he's going to receive a Speedway Australia cap and put it on the lid. Ladies and gentlemen, make plenty of noise driving the Q number 12, Brodie Holliman. Brodie, plenty of fans up here on the hill, mate. Obviously a fair bit of family travelling down from Queensland to make this one possible for you.
Oh, it's just unreal. Like, the effort that Dad does for me is just incredible, and I just can't thank him enough. And seriously, whoever helped coming down to this trip, like, it really does mean a lot. For example, like, Pete from True Design Homes, Sid from Sid Tech, Boss Hog Steakhouse, Holland's Electrical Solutions, Cutting Edge Mowers, Down Under Graphics, Highline Fabrication, and anyone else who just helps out. And just thanks to Alexandra for putting this on.
Spoken like a true pro, mate, and this car looks gorgeous as well. Don't think the tyre shine goes amiss. This thing looked gorgeous when it joined the racetrack, and it'll do the same thing when it heads back to the Pints with a new heat race winner board. Congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
An ecstatic family here on the main straightaway, and cool to see Peter Walters supporting this car as well with True Design Homes. On the right rear quarter, Brodie Holliman.
Race brought to you by Speedway Sedans Victoria, who will have their Victorian Junior Sedan title here next weekend back at Alexandra. Great couple of weekends for Junior Sedan racing in this part of the country. And all the way from Darwin on the Northern Territory, River Spitzbath leads them to the green flag in heat number 13. Jaden Locke in a Mitsubishi Lancer starting on his outside as they head off into turns 1 and 2 and down the back straight for the first of 8 occasions. And straight away, Patterson's on the low line. That's River Patterson and the Rassler Engineering number 48. Very confident young man. Met him yesterday morning. Absolutely loves his speedway and he's doing a great job on his home track. He's up into second straight away, challenging the young fella from the Northern Territory in River Spitzbath. He's got the Simpson 4, the Victoria 4. Out of Simpson near Colac in Jaden Locke sitting there in 3rd from AJ McDonald. Shani Farrell from Tasmania is up into 5th in the truck refinishing number 35 Mitsubishi Lancer, which is looking to the outside of AJ McDonald. Shani side by side with the 17 out of Bundaberg in Queensland of AJ McDonald. They're banging doors as they enter turn number 1. Shani Farrell just trying to close the door, and AJ McDonald and River Spitzbath has had a moment in the Northern Territory 43, and he's going to fall back through the field. So rotten luck for young River. He's got some work to do here in heat race number 13 of the SSA National Junior Sedan title. And all of a sudden, the local in the V47, River Patterson, finds himself in the race lead from Jaden Locke. The Jaden Santin in the N17 is on the low line. They're 3 wide for 3rd. It's getting pretty willing between a couple of them, and Shani Farrell makes the best of it up into 3rd place around the outside of the N17 as Jaden Locke gets a bit untidy, and he might have thrown 2nd place away to the Tasmania 35 of Shani Farrell. Goes around the outside up into 2nd. It's Mitsubishi Lancers 1st through 7th at the moment, remarkably. So Farrell, Santin, Locke, AJ McDonald and Donnie Davis is 6th in the WA3. Out of Newman in the East Pilbara region of Western Australia. 7th from Tasmania is Carly O'Reilly. Carly, remember, down there at Latrobe, the northwest of the state as Billy McBride has had a spin on the exit of turn number 4 in the 13, the V13 of Billy McBride, and that'll bring on the yellow caution lights in this heat race number 13 of the SSA National Junior Sedan title. We've got 4 laps completed and 4 remaining, so we're halfway home in this particular heat race for the SSA National Junior Sedan title.
So cars launch again behind Patterson. The local, Razzler on the side. They've got to be stoked with their coverage there at Razzler Engineering. Powder coating and sandblasting across both of those cars, and of course sponsoring this event. Green flag at the ready. Smalley, can River get the job done in front of the home crowd?
We're about to find out in a few moments' time. It's a Mitsubishi Lancer heat race pretty much, this one, as River hits the loud pedal as he sails off into turn number 1. Jaden Santin in the N17 out of Lismore, trying to find a way past Shani Farrell, Donnie Davis and AJ McDonald side by side into turn 3 past the Foodworks sign, and Donnie Davis has got himself into the top 5. The Western Australia number 3, McDonald back to 6 from Carly O'Reilly, and River Spitzpath, this stoppage has helped him after that spin earlier in the heat race. He's back up into 7th. Donnie Davis is now up into 4th around the outside of Jaden Locke. He's found a bit of racetrack to work with as young Donnie Davis. He's only just been racing for a little over 18 months in Western Australia. Not a long Speedway career thus far for Donnie. And Shani Farrell challenging the race leader on the exit of turn number 4. River Patterson and Shani Farrell going at it for the race lead. Patterson on the low line, Farrell on the outside. The Tasmanian taking on the Victorian. Side by side past the Wandon heavy haulage sign into turn number 3. Farrell digging big time on the outside. The Lancer trying to get amongst it. They bang doors, bang wheels on the exit of turn number 4 and greet the white flag. Donnie Davis to the inside of Jaden Santin. He moves into 3rd. Does the West Australian as Shani Farrell has the nose in front. Down the back straight. Can Patterson fight back on the low line in the V47 into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Farrell runs wide. Patterson comes up the inside, and the 47 takes the race win. What a drive. What a race. It's Patterson from Farrell, Donnie Davis, Jaden Santin, Jaden Locke. After that was AJ McDonald, the Northern Territory 43. River Spitzpath was 7th from Carly O'Reilly, Billy McBride, Sammy Werders, and Will Fallon. Your finishes, the 11 finishes there in heat race number 13 of the Razzler Engineering National title for junior sedans. How about that, Alexandra? He fought back. He was challenged big time by Shani Farrell. But the Razzler Engineering V47 gets it done. There must be plenty of family and friends in the house for the driver of the V47. River Patterson gets it done over Shani Farrell and Donnie Davis, your top 3.
So as he removes the helmet, and Razzler Engineering on the side, smooth suspension on the door of the Lancer. Going to take home a Speedway Australia cap in front of the hometown crowd and plenty of family up on the hill. Ladies and gentlemen, make plenty of noise driving the AX47, River Patterson. How good's that, River? Listen to the crowd erupt, mate. You've got to have plenty of family and supporters here, and of course, right here at home with Razzler Engineering on the door. Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to win an Australian title. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Pretty cool moment for you for sure. Who have you got to thank, mate?
Just a huge thanks to Mum, Dad, Lincoln, Nanny, Nana, everyone for coming up and watching Squiggle, and yeah, all my sponsors, Razzler Engineering, Simo's Fiberglass, His Mom's Building, Smooth Suspension, and S&M Engineering.
It's a gorgeous 2-car deal, mate. Congratulations on the heat race win, River. We look forward to seeing you out in round number 3.
Thank you.
Make plenty of noise once again, ladies and gentlemen, driving that AX47. River Patterson gets his heat race win. And plenty of
14. That's just going to leave us with just the 8 starters to round out this second round of heat racing. Heat number 14. Bit of a gift for Carter Metcalfe, who was originally meant to start out of P10. He now finds himself out of P8. So, Q99 of JJ Hamilton, the S12 of Max Richter lead him to the green flag. as heat race number 14 for the national title is all go. And Jack Murphy has been doing a lot of travelling this season to race in Victoria, and also went to the South Australian title over at Renmark. Has moved up into second place. JJ Hamilton just jumped over the curb down there in turn number 3. Jack Murphy trying to reel him in. These guys done a little bit of racing against each other this season. And the ACT 55er Jack Murphy sails off into turn number 1. Goes to the top shelf on JJ Hamilton, who's in the Morgan Metal Corp entry. And look who's storming towards the front of the field. The man who was quickest in official practice yesterday afternoon, the V810 out of Mildura. Oh, Jack Murphy collects a concrete wall in a big way. Heavy damage to the right side of the 55 Lancer. He's collected, stopped right where the pit gate is as they exit turn number 4, just as he was challenging JJ Hamilton for the race lead. And unfortunately, the ACT 55 has come to grief. Down there in turn number 4, we'll get our crash crew to do what they do best and head over there to the accident scene. Not sure how you saw that one, Liam. Also see behind you, Fletcher Barron is taking his cut of the infield as well.
Over this weekend, could it even be this one, Smalley? He's got a little bit of work to do. It's going to be a cracking race with these two out in front right now, and there's talent right through this field. Set for a start once again.
Yeah, JJ Hamilton leads him to the green flag. The Morgan Metal Corp. Q19, Mirage takes him off into in front of a fantastic crowd down there in turns 1 and 2. Very passionate Speedway people down there in that part of the world. And Carter Metcalfe straight away to the outside of JJ Hamilton, trying to find a way past the Q32 of Kane Richters, who remarkably went all the way to Renmark for the South Australian title a few weeks ago, where he finished in the runner-up position. Sits back there in third, and Carter Metcalfe, the young fellow we just spoke about, three-quarter track high around the outside of JJ Hamilton, hits the race lead as they enter turn number 3. Race their way past the Rassler Engineering sign into Pitt's corner, and JJ Hamilton trying to fight back on the low line, but Carter Metcalfe has got it done, looking to become the third driver to have 2 heat race wins in this year's national title for SSA Junior Sedans. Bit of a depleted field going around here in heat number 14, which is not what we like to see, but Carter Metcalfe making best use of it. He was originally meant to start from P10 in this heat race, so his toughest grid draw of the weekend, and he might convert it into a heat race win. The Mildura registered number 10, JJ Hamilton and Kane Richters, the 2 Queenslanders, are going to battle to the line for second place. Haven't called the driver who sits in 4th, Toby Parks, too much in this race, but he sits back there looking to put 17 points in the bank. The S12 of Max Richter runs in 5th, and the VA9 of Tyson Heafy rounds out your cars that remain on track. Unfortunately, Fletcher Barron and Logan Mayer and Jack Murphy all out of this race, and in Logan's case, he won't be credited with any points after being a did not start. But Carter Metcalfe, three-quarter track high, has 2 laps remaining. Well, the Alexandra Speedway has been on the podium before in a South Australian title. Would love to be on the podium this weekend with Carter Metcalfe as he heads out of turn 2. Past the Wandon heavy haulage sign into turn number 3. And he's three-quarter track high around the outside of the S12 of Max Richter to put young Max down a lap. But there goes the white flag. JJ Hamilton still sits in second from the Q32 of Kane Richters. The V43 of Toby Parks. Your cars on the lead lap, just the 4 of them. But Carter Metcalfe, he will be absolutely pumped to come and chat to Liam Auger in a few moments' time as he comes out of turn number 4 for the final time. The VA10, Carter Metcalfe gets it done for JJ Hamilton, Kane Richters, and Toby Parks, and the V43 will be your 4 drivers to finish on the lead lap. After that will be the S12 of Max Richter and the VA9 of Tyson Heafy. Your 6 finishes there in heat race number 14. But outstanding stuff by Carter Metcalfe. Fastest in official practice yesterday. He has not put a foot wrong so far on the opening day of competition in this year's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Alexandra Speedway driving for Jocks Metal Magic, R&L Auto Electrics. Put your hands together for this kid hailing from Mildura, Victoria, driving the VA number 10, Carter Metcalfe. Carter, how good has this weekend been for you so far?
Oh, I'm loving it. This track has just been all over the joint, but it's still been really quick. I'm loving it. The car's handling well. Everyone's doing good racing. I'm loving it.
It's gone absolutely as perfect as you could want it, mate. Fastest in the practice, a pair of heat race wins. How good does this car feel right now?
Mate, this car is unbelievable. Trying to get it done for like 2 years, developing on these Hyundais for 4. Man, this is all I've been dreaming. It's fun.
I normally get to chat to you at the Cowards Bakery, mate, when we're grabbing a Monster Energy down there, and now I'm chatting to you after you've won a pair of heats at the National Junior Sedan title. Well done, Carter. Good luck in round number 3 later on, brother.
Thank you. Good luck to everyone else.
Well done, Carter Metcalfe. Such a cracking young bloke at the wheel of the Hyundai XL. The VA10 this weekend, the Mildura number 10. He's pumped up. He's Walters driving the Victoria number 1. Scotty Angus on the outside in the Nyora 72. Inside row number 3 is the Australian champion for modified sedans, newly crowned Brock Atkins driving the A1. Daniel Simpson on his outside. Brody Christie and Darcy Wilson. Round out your field. Heat race 2A is set for a start. And Atkins rockets into 1. Kai Walters is locked down low behind him. There's going to be a cracking race already. Dyke and Brock Atkins go to work deeper in the field, but it's Todd Atkins and Walters out in front. The first lap to be wound down is Todd Atkins as they're locked solid, and look at Brock go the top. He's right up on the extreme outside. The Wadea Works A1 is digging the top groove of this joint right now. They're 3 wide down the back straightaway with John Dyke and Daniel Simpson. That's never mind the race lead battle that's going on right now as well between Todd Atkins and Kai Walters. Kai right up on the rear bumper of Atkins. Kai searching for his first heat race win of the night. Todd Atkins trying to do the same. Atkins opens up the racetrack on the bottom. Walters wasn't quick enough to use that gap, but have a look at him crack it now. Walters on the inside, Atkins on the outside. Huge pedal into 1 and 2. Through the top side they run. Atkins up high, Walters down low, down into the bottom end of this racetrack, through 3 and 4. Here comes the national champion now as well. Todd's older brother Brock is starting to join this battle. You can hear Todd Atkins' machine hammering at the limiter at the tail of the straightaway. So it's Atkins from Walters, who's having a big lurch up the inside. Pulls back out of it, and here comes Brock Atkins. Nearly 3 wide coming up the main straightaway. Walters has a good run. Todd Atkins grabs the wall on entry. He keeps the 36 rolling, but grabbed a big pinch of the concrete fence. Now Brock Atkins has to go to work on Walters. The Victorian champion looks good right now. His family is stuck there on the main straightaway, and they're getting up and about as the Victorian champion leads another lap into 3 and 4. He's got Brock Atkins right on the tail. White flag at the ready. This one's going to go right to the line. 1 lap to run for the Victorian champion. From the Brock Atkins Australia 1. Plenty of smoke from the rear of the Falcon. Wow. Well, Kai Walters, the Victorian champ, gets the job done. And Brock Atkins, a bit of smoke billows from Todd Atkins, from Daniel Simpson, from Brody Christie, from Scotty Angus, John Dyke and Darcy Wilson. Folks, put your hands together. There'll be a pretty rowdy front straightaway here as he pulls up. Kai Walters, the Victorian champion, gets the job done in heat race number 2A for the VMPA Tritech Lubricant Series. You'll be ecstatic with this one. We'll just give him a moment to take the helmet off, take the balaclava off, pull the receiver buds out. Such an immaculate looking race car. Turned it around with the Victoria number 1 down the side. So many supporters that wanted to come on board this team. True Design Homes, of course, by Peter Walters Builders. I&J Speedway Equipment, RAT Industries, Cush Clothing gets a sticker on the side as well. High Side Promotion. He's going to receive the heat race winner board and we'll get a quick photo. Grab him the board. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's got a pretty rowdy front straightaway here with all the family and supporters. Make plenty of noise for the Victorian champion, Kai Walters. Kai, the family always get around you, mate. It's cool to hear it. We can even hear him over the sound of the cars as well when you went for the pass there in the lead. Did everything right, mate. Must feel good to get another heat race win for this team.
Yeah, it's good. It's probably a track that I struggle at. So the car was pretty good then, and we'll just keep working at it. And yeah, just like to say thanks to the family and everyone that comes and supports. And hopefully everyone's having a good night and everyone watching on Speedway Science live is enjoying themselves.
I love that we still get to see the one on the side of this thing too, man. Good work on the V1.
Yeah, no, it was one that I've been chasing for a while, so we're happy to run number one, Vic 1 on the side, so it's good.
Congratulations on the heat race win, mate. We look forward to seeing the pole shuffle later on. Ladies and gentlemen, one more for Kai Walters, the Victorian Modified Sedan champion. He's going to head back to the pits with a win under the books of that V1 team. So well supported. There's so many of those race shirts getting around the racetracks. So, heat race 2B lined up and ready to roll. We've got a bit of track crew on the back straightaway and they will head infield. Brad, for a start, the lights are out at Alexandra Speedway and the light towers come alight. Green flag waves for Warren and Nelson. Nello gets the better start. He leads into one from Brad Warren, and here comes the South Australian champion. Ripping around the top, and Jake Druitt is up to P4 already. Westy is locked to the bottom in the Tirana. And here comes Druitt. Have a look at the car size of these two. Westy having a big crack at Brad Warren for 2. So, Nello looks much better this time out. Struggled a little bit for speed in the first heat, but he's got this thing dialed in right now, and the Waste and Oils AX61 is ripping away from this field. The Ready Pub on board. Westy puts a big move on Warren. Here comes Druitt now as well. Side by side in the back straightaway. Have a look at the straightaway speed on Druitt. As he powers by Warren up to 3. They're going to go to work now for battles in 2 and 3. It's Westy and Jake Druitt. And the Elite Shock Services SA number 1, Mildura 18 on the roof. And the Waste and Oils, number 61 of Nello, getting the job done. Right now, he's checked out of this thing. He's done a lot of laps around this racetrack. Has Nello in that AX61, and he looks solid right now as Druitt goes right on the outside on West. Brad Warren, we're back to Casey Garlick. From Paul and Peter Angus at the tail. Nello continues to stretch the legs of the Falcon, and Druitt starting to use that top side of the racetrack now, lap after lap, starting to pack it in, moving the cushion upwards, and it is picturesque over the back straightaway right now. How good's that, Smalley? It's as good as you want. The sun's setting down over the mountains here at Alexandra Speedway. Nello hammering away. The top 3 starting to spread out, but the battle's up between Casey Garlick in that Tritech Lubricants AX62 and Brad Warren in the Quick Time Automotive. Number 84. White flag this time for Nello. He's put a few beers away at this racetrack, and I'm certain he's had a few wins as well. And Nello doing everything right so far. Half a lap left to run. And the excitable character at the wheel of this AX61 will be a good chat on the microphone too. Jake Druitt will come home for second, the SA1, Mildura number 18. From Graham West, Brad Warren, Casey Garlick. Paul through as well, and Peter Angus rounds out your field here in the final heat race of the night for the VMPA Tritech Lubricants Series. And we'll grab a chat with Matt Nelson in that AX61 for Waste and Oils. This would be a good chat to the locals, I'd think. Wason Oils, the Ready Pub on the side, Campton Graphics as well. You somehow keep a nice looking race car underneath this bloke. Hayden Race Cars on the right rear quarter. We'll grab a quick photo with Nello while he's fresh and sweaty. Ladies and gentlemen, the helmet's off. Make plenty of noise driving the AX61, Matt Nelson. Nello, you must have done a few laps around this place by now. I know like hell you've partied in the pits of this joint, but it's good to get the win out on the racetrack.
No, I don't drink anymore, so I've given up since last night. No, it's good. The track's awesome. That's really good fun. So that's the main thing with me here is just a bit of fun. Watch your juniors. Those kids are going really fast. It's really cool. Thanks to everyone coming out and looking after Squiggle. That he does that too. No, thanks to everyone helping me out, getting me here, and yeah, thank you.
Lock yourself into the pole shuffle now too. I know those things come into your hand well sometimes. It's always wheels up. I think that suits your kind of racing, hey?
Yeah, I'm struggling a bit with gearing. I need a bit more drive, but no, it's cool. The car's cool, and yeah, we'll see how we go.
Have a crack later on. Make plenty of noise for Matt Nelson in the AX61 Falcon. Gets the job done for Wason Oil, Hayden Race Cars, and the Ready Pub as well. Track crews go straight to work, packing this joint in up the top.
Who also had a heat race win in that second round, so 10 cars to go round in heat race number 15. The sun has definitely started to set here at Alexandra Speedway into the evening portion of the program on day number 1 of this national title, the first ever time that the Alexandra District Speedway Club has been able to host a national title under the Speedway Sedans Australia umbrella. We congratulate them on that and the job they've done so far this weekend. And the third and final round of heats on the opening day is underway this year's national title. And Jaden Hancock and Billy McDonald, the two Queenslanders, both in a Mitsubishi Lancer, race off into turn number 1. And Jaden Hancock, who led his heat race earlier today for a long way, is now out in front, has the lead on the opening lap as they're all trying to make their presence felt early. Cooper Reid, three-quarter track guy. And look who's coming up the bottom side of the racetrack, the NT43 of River Spitzbath. He moves up into 4th place. Down the inside of Cooper Reid, Nathan Miles, Mitchell McClure, and Brody Holliman trying to go amongst it as well. As Nathan Miles moved down the inside into 5th place, puts Cooper Reid back to 6th. Brody Holliman, who started from P10, is up to 7th from Harry Cecil, Mitchell McClure, and Alex McMillan. Got a great battle between the two Queenslanders who've done a lot of racing at Bundaberg in recent times. Jaden Hancock and Billy McDonald also down at Maryborough. And McDonald goes to the outside of Hancock, trying to range up alongside him as they exited turn number 2 past the Wandon heavy haulage sign and into turn number 3. And it's come unstuck for River Spitzbath and the NT43 facing the wrong way in the Mitsubishi Mirage. And the yellow caution lights have come on. We've got caution on the Speedway here at Alexandra. Left rear quarter panel, bit of cosmetic damage on the left rear quarter panel of the V85 of Reese Meekins. Title they get behind SSA Juniors here in Victoria in a big, big way. The lights really taking effect here at Alexandra, pretty much racing under lights now. The daylight is pretty much gone here in Victoria for today, Saturday the 9th of April. And we're back underway. And Jaden Hancock looking for his first heat race win of the weekend in the Q7 Mitsubishi Lancer. Nathan Miles has been pretty competitive on day number 1 as the Northern Territory driver in front of him of River Spitzbath in the NT43. But look who's going to the outside of the racetrack on the exit of turn number 4. It's Billy McDonald. He's found a bit of racetrack to work with in the Q2 out of Bundaberg. He's three-quarter track guy on the outside of Jaden Hancock. Hancock just shuts the door as they exit at turn number 2. Nathan Miles is now clearly in 3rd from River Spitzbath, and Brody Holliman from the back of the field. He started on the 5th row. He's now in 5th place from Cooper Reid. Harry Cecil, Mitchell McClure, Reese Meekins on the comeback trail after being sent to the rear of the field in the V85. And Alex McMillan in the T24 Hyundai Excel rounds out our runners. as Billy McDonald once again trying to reel in Jaden Hancock. These two Lancers race against each other week in and week out in southeast Queensland. He's three-quarter track high. There's Billy McDonald. You can't say he's going to die wandering. He's having a red-hot crack on the outside of the Alexandra Speedway. Brody Holliman, can he find fourth place in the Q12? Looking to the inside of River Spitzbath as they exited turn number 2 and head down the back straight. Cooper Reid is in 6th from Harry Cecil, Reese Meekins, Mitchell McClure, and Alex McMillan as the way they run in the opening heat of the third round, the final round of heats on night number 1. I keep thinking that the yellow lights are coming on, all those wood fires burning down there in through turns 1 and 2 and out of turn 2. But the green lights are definitely still on here in heat 15. And Billy McDonald, can he pry the door open on Jaden Hancock? Queensland's 1 and 2. Then the Victorian Nathan Miles 3rd. Northern Territories River Spitzbath is 4th. And another Queenslander, Brody Holliman, rounding out your top 5. But out of turn 2 for the final occasion, does a heap of racing in southeast Queensland, week in and week out. His home patch in the Sunshine State. He's just narrowly going to prevail. Billy McDonald looks to the inside, but the Q7's just going to get there by half a car over the Q2 of Billy McDonald. And Reese Meekins has come to grief down there in turns 3 and 4 on the final lap. Nathan Miles was 3rd from River Spitzbath. Brody Holliman, Cooper Reid, Harry Cecil was 7th, Mitchell McClure 8th, Alex McMillan 9th. So Reese Meekins is going to limp the V85 across the line to be officially 10th. And not starting that particular heat race was the V66 of Matty Cappan. A bit of damage to the right front corner. Definite flat tyre amongst other things for Reese Meekins. But Jaden Hancock will be relieved to record a heat race win here on day number 1.
So this kid's going to head back to Queensland in the number 7 with a heat race win at the national title. Congratulations, Jaden Hancock. Gets the job done driving the Q7 at the 2022 Wrestler SSA Inc. National Junior Sedan title. Jaden, how does that feel, mate? You look pretty good out in front. There was a bit of pressure through the middle part of the race, but you're able to hang on.
Yeah, the car felt great. Made a few mistakes then, a few rights, but awesome place, awesome track. I can't thank Mum and Dad for getting me out here. All the sponsors put the work in, LA Security, F-Word Speed Shop, Revo Productions, HMI, Aaron Prost Contracting, Barney's Exhaust, yeah, everyone, thank you.
Congratulations, mate. Really well spoken as well. This car looks great. You're able to go sit up on the hill now, give this car a bit of a bath and watch the rest of the racing, hey?
Yeah, sweet. Thank you.
See you back here tomorrow night. Jaden Hancock driving the Q number 7 gets the win in his final heat race of the night here in night number 1 of the Razzler Inc.
Vast quantity out of Tasmania, Queensland, and the 5 West Australians, along with River Spitzbath from the Northern Territory. And a handful of South Australians taking on the locals here in Victoria. This is heat race number 16 of the 2022 Wrestler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. And we'll all go in heat race number 16. Just 5 to come after this, and Christine Oliver got an outstanding start from the front row. And the V62 for Bacchus Marsh Towing leads down the back straight. Lockie Bull out of Swan Hill, 3/4 track high, and Jackson Goldie from the Dubbo City Speedway is already up in the 3rd. Oh no! A heavy crash for Stevie Smith. He's gone head first off the end of the back straight, right in front of the smooth suspension sign. And Lockie Bull, Jacob Timworth caught up at it as well. They brought their cars to a stop in front of the Foodworks sign, and we'll pick them up with a complete restart very shortly. But the cars have stopped here in the front straight. Leah Morger, that was a nasty spill for the Tasmania 73 of Stevie Smith. Heat 16. So with the 14 of Michaela O'Reilly being sent to the rear, and Stevie Smith and Jacob Tinworth out of the race, it leaves us with just 9 cars set to go round. Christine Oliver and Harry Fowler, your front row Fowler, from the pole position in the Q23 out of the Gold Coast in southeast Queensland. We're underway. It's a race off into turn number 1, and Christine Oliver has the nose in front as Jackson Goldie, 3/4 track high there, 3 wide out of turn number 2. Goldie on the outside, Fowler on the low line, and Christine Oliver. And Jackson Goldie, like he was shot out of a cannon, got a great launch around the outside on the back straight. Getting a little bit untidy. He's at exit turn 4, and Lockie Robbins all of a sudden is up into 3rd place in the Tasmania 48. He moves to 3rd. Christine Oliver back to 4th. The VA 51, a Lockie Bull, who hails out of Swan Hill, the northern part of Victoria. And Jackson Goldie again looking for the race lead to the inside of Harry Fowler. They're side by side. And Goldie on the low line, Fowler on the outside, and the Q23 just keeping the nose in front. The NA17 of Jackson Goldie from the Dubbo City Speedway trying to go with him, and Lockie Robbins from the back of the bus is right in amongst it in the T48. So they head down the back straight. The T48 was scheduled to start in P11 in this heat race, and finds himself up into 3rd place. He's 3/4 track high on the outside of Jackson Goldie. Just digging away is the T48. Can he make the move? Stick on the outside of Jackson Goldie as they enter turn number 1. The T48 again to the outside of Jackson Goldie. What a great battle for the race lead between these 3 young fellas. Harry Fowler, Jackson Goldie, and Tasmania's Lockie Robbins. And Harry Fowler continues to just keep the nose in front. Lockie Bull is further back. He's in 4th place, holding off Christine Oliver. Michaela Riley's worked her way back to 6th place in the Tasmania 14 from the WA 08 of Tyler Scott. He's 7th. And Ryland Peck in the VA 29 out of Hamilton, the Hamilton Exhaust Centre. Hyundai Excel is 8th. And further back is young Richter, that being Max Richter in the S12. The Datsun Sunny. But Harry Fowler, wouldn't he love 36 points on night number 1, this year's National Junior Sedan title. He brings the Q23 out of turn 2 and down the back straight here at the fast wide open Alexandra Speedway in Central Victoria. The Q23 from the Gold Coast. Harry Fowler has a couple of laps remaining between himself and a heat race win here in heat number 16. Goldie, Robbins, and Lockie Bull rounding out your top 4. Christine Oliver still holding on to 5th in the back of Smash Towing Charade. Michaela O'Reilly is 6th as Ryland Peck and Tyler Scott might have designs on the 2 places in front of them, which are occupied by Michaela O'Reilly and Christine Oliver. But out of turn 4, he just has 1 lap remaining. There's Harry Fowler, who's found the quick way around this racetrack pretty quickly in the Q23s. He set sail down the back straight past the tyre power sign into turn number 3. Lockie Robbins is going to have 1 last lunge at Jackson Goldie for 2nd, but I don't think he's going to get it done. And Harry Fowler wins heat race number 16, this year's national title. And Jackson Goldie, Lockie Robbins will be round out your podium. From Lockie Bull, Michaela Riley got back to 5th. Christine Oliver, Ryland Peck, who's got the rear bumper hanging from the Hyundai Excel, Tyler Scott. And after that was the S12 of Max Richter to round out your finishes there in that particular heat race. That was heat 16 of the SSA National Junior Sedan title. Stevie Smith and Jacob Tinworth, both non-finishers. So Max Richter credited with 9th, albeit 1 lap down. But Harry Fowler, I reckon he'd be excited to have a chat to Liam Orger and receive his cap from Speedway Australia for winning heat number 16.
So, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to take home a heat race win at the National Junior Sedan title. The Flash, Harry Fowler, gets the job done. Man, you've got to be stoked with that one. You look good out in front.
Yeah, I'm totally stoked with that. Can't believe I won that. I'd just like to thank Dad for spending all day trying to fix the car, and I can't believe I'm still in shock. I'd like to thank all my sponsors as well for getting us down here, and my mum and my sister for coming along. Thank you.
Just dialed in, mate. Looked really comfortable to drive as well, whereas a lot of cars in that field just then were a little bit all over the place. This thing was locked down the whole time. Looked comfortable.
Yeah, it was so comfortable. It was just easy to drive. It was nice and easy, yeah.
Well, you can park the bus now, take the car back to the pit bay, come back up on the hill and enjoy the rest of the night's racing, and we'll see you back out tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Harry. The Flash, Harry Fowler, getting the job done in his final heat race on night number 1.
Tyler Barton on the camera, whilst former national champion back in 2000, Daniel Barton pilots his vehicle tomorrow night in the support categories.
Indeed. I'm showing my age. I remember Daniel Barton being an Australian three-stroke champion and coming to Western Australia to defend that title. I'm not 40 yet, so I'm not that old. All right, back to the National Junior Sedan title. Heat 17 is underway And McKercher and Randall set sail into turn number 1. Santin in another one of those very quick lances trying to get amongst it as well. Brody Day made a great start from the outside of the 4th row, and he's up into 4th place. He's the current Australian number 3 in this division. He's 3/4 track high in the Hyundai Excel. Carly O'Reilly trying to get amongst it, as is Riley Lawrence in the VA66. The T28 of Carly O'Reilly doing a great job as well, but all of a sudden, Santin has hit the race lead. He hails from the N17. He hails from the Lismore Automobile Club. Does Jaden Santin in Northern New South Wales. Very confident young fella. Loved having a chat yesterday about all things Speedway. And he leads down the front straight. Oh, no, there's a big crash. A big crash as they exited turn number 4. Carly O'Reilly and Riley Lawrence have got together. And unfortunately, that was the second race in a row where one of the lady racers from Tasmania has found the concrete wall in a nasty way. And I think we'll have a significant delay before we get heat race number 17 back underway for the National Junior Sedan title. 17, Jack Randall. He would be looking to try and hold on here, holding off a very quick young fella from the Northern Rivers region of New South Wales. Jaden Santin and the N17 are all set to go as they exit turn number 4. Get this one back underway. It's McKercher back there in 3rd place, so a bevy, I think that's what you'd call it, of Mitsubishi Lancers as they race their way down the back straight. Pass out the Foodworks sign, Brody Day straight away to the outside of McKercher as they enter turn number 3, trying to find a way past. It's the West Australian on the Tasmanian in front of him. As they're side by side at the start-finish line for 3rd and 4th. Riley Lawrence still sits in 5th from Sophie Santin as Brody Day got very close to the concrete wall on the exit of turn number 2 as they head down the back straight. Here in this heat race number 17 of the SSA National Junior Sedan title. There'll be 5 laps remaining this time around for the V51 of Jack Randall. Holding off Santin in the 17, McKercher. Kyra McKercher in the T33, the WA8 of Brody Day, and the VA66 of Riley Lawrence. He's got Sophie Santin behind him, looking for 5th place. So both the Santin siblings in this heat race number 17. And Brody Day with some mechanical woes. An Origin Earth moving number 8, slowing here in the front straight. And he was looking for to cap off a great opening day. He had 2 runner-up finishes and was inside the top 3 here in heat 17. He's going again now. Maybe it was gearbox related or something like that, but he's back battling with Matilda Farrell for 7th place, but has dropped a heap of points as Brody Day in that process. And the Narrogin Earth moving entry from the Great Southern of Western Australia. Jack Randall has got Jaden Santin continuing to find a way past. Kyra McKercher sits back there in 3rd place in the T33 out of Launceston. Her dad works for Adam Beachy down there in Tasmania. A very handy super sedan compared to the Pettis suspension entry. Riley Lawrence, Sophie Santin sitting back there in 5th place. AJ McDonald, haven't called AJ so far in this race. Matilda Farrell is 7th, and Brody Day, the car just limping around the Alexandra Speedway, is going to limp it home in 8th, you have to feel. And Will Fallon is 9th as Santin nearly went via the main straight, the main street of Alexandra that time around down in turn number 4. He was that wide in the N17. McKercher trying to run him down in the T33, but it's Lancers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. As Brody Day now moves into 7th around the outside of Matilda Farrell, and Will Fallon is at 9th and last at the moment. As the checker flag comes out for Jack Randall, gets it done over Jaden Santin, Kyra McKercher, Riley Lawrence, Sophie Santin, AJ McDonald will be 6th, and Brody Day is going to limp home in 7th in car number 8 from Western Australia. Matilda Farrell will be 8th in the VA5, and 9th will be the 77 of Will Fallon, with unfortunately the T28 of Carly O'Reilly coming to grief on the opening lap, being credited with 10th place. Finishing points, but Jack Randall, he'll be wrapped with that in the V51, a regular competitor with the JSPA here in Victoria, and he gets a heat race win in heat 17.
So driving for the VW Australian Performance Centre in the AX51, taking out heat race number 17, Jack Randall. Jack, how good does that feel to do it at home, mate?
Feels really good. To be honest, this is my first Aussie title, and to get a heat win race, it's pretty cool, especially at my home track.
Mate, who have you got to thank on board this car?
Can't thank Mum, Dad, my nan, my pa enough for, getting the car ready, all the towing, all the money they've put into this, and a major sponsor, Australian VW Performance. You always help out. You're always great. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, mate. You can take some confidence into night number 2 tomorrow night. You can go and park the bus and come up on the hill and watch the rest of the racing, eh?
Certainly can. Thank you so much, everyone.
Well done. Driving the AX51, Jack Randall takes a heat race win here on night number 1 of the Razzler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title, boys. And really well spoken as well. Thanks all of his sponsors and his family. It's a cool little deal for the VW Australian Performance Centre.
I love that.
It's awesome.
You do a great job with that, Smalley. Razzler Engineering.
Razzler Engineering.
They've been such big supporters of junior sedan racing across the state. We hope they're having a great time here this weekend. A big thank you to the whole team at Razzler Engineering for getting behind this wonderful weekend.
Indeed. As we get set for a dispatch out of turn number 4. Liam Cameron from the Rockhampton Saloon Car Club, the Daihatsu Charade. He's your pole sitter. And he's got Sammy Werders from here in Victoria starting on his outside. Run away with his heat races. Lachlan Brown and Cameron Smith just get together at the tail of the field. The green lights stay on. Watch for Will Shaw. He loves the outside of the racetrack here at Alexandra. Look at him rail the top from the V15 to the outside of Sammy Werders. He moves up into second place. Does Will Shaw. He's on the charge. The Mildura 15. Barton and Werders trying to go with him. The two Nyora registered cars from down the West Gippsland region here in Victoria. Cameron Smith moving his way forward as well. And looks like Lachlan Brown's got some dramas with the S9 here in the front straight, showing the ill effects of that heavier crash earlier tonight. And speaking of crashes, come to grief down there in turns 3 and 4. Will Shaw jumped on the brakes to avoid that one. And unfortunately, Liam Cameron has got the Charade parked up against the concrete wall. He's been able to pluck reverse and get it away from the wall. Doesn't appear to be much damage at this point in time. Out there as well, sitting inside the top 5, along with Rye Orme, Chase Doherty, and Corey Richter are the 7 that remain in heat number 18, event number 25 in today's program. So a depleted field to contest the last 7 laps. We've only done 1. And some big points coming up for one of these drivers in the not too distant future is Cameron Smith. He can smell blood in the water, the V14 up into second. Around Barton and then disposes of Werders back to second. And Cameron Smith, the son of David Smith, 2012 National Modified Sedan Champion. The Sign Effects Hyundai Excel now leads from Kiana Barton sitting in second place. And Toby Parks and Rye Orme working the outside of the 63 in front of him of Sammy Werders. What a great battle for the minors between those particular drivers. Rye Orme and the Lancer, 3/4 track high, moves up into 4th place. But Cameron Smith, one of the best presented cars in the field this weekend. His dad, David Smith, very passionate about Speedway Sedan racing, and they've put together a beautiful Hyundai Excel for Cameron to contest junior sedan competition around Victoria in the V14. Sails down the back straight, past the Foodworks sign into turn number 3. Trying to stay with Cameron Smith is the 19 of Kiana Barton. V43 of Toby Parks is 3rd from Rye Orme, and the V9, Sammy Werders, is rounding out your top 5 from the 31 of Chase Doherty. And Max Richter in the S12. Oh, sorry, Corey Richter, it is in the S16, a little bit off the pace at the moment with a few mechanical problems, but we've got still 3 to run. And Cameron Smith, his quickest time so far, just recorded on that last circulation, a 22.919, 22.919 for Cameron Smith. He continues to lead Kiana Barton in the V19. registered over at Nyora. And rounding out your top three, the V43 of Toby Parks. So it's an all-Victorian affair with just the only interstate competitor remaining out during this race, the S16 to Corey Richter. Unfortunately, Will Shaw, Lachlan Brown, and Liam Cameron all coming to grief on that opening circulation. Well, after the completed one lap, it was on the second lap here in heat number 18. But hailing from the Timber Speedway in Mildura, white flag is on display for the V14. He hails out of Mildura, as I was going to say. Cameron Smith heading down the back straight. Nice the Rassler Engineering sign into pits corner, and Cameron Smith, 36 points, will do him no harm at all. His quest in this weekend's national title. He collects the victory from Kiana Barton. Toby Parks is going to hold off Rye Orm for third. And then a long way back to Sammy Werders will round out your top five on the V63. The V31 of Chase Doherty will be officially sixth. And the S16 of Corey Richter, one lap down in the S16. Will Shaw be credited with 8th place finishing points in the V15. Credited with 9th will be the S9 of Lachlan Brown, and credited with 10th for being the primary cause of the stoppage. The Q22, Liam Cameron, will be disappointed with that. That was his pole position for the weekend. All done with very minimal points to show from it. But Cameron Smith will be wrapped to collect a victory in this weekend's national title in the heat race competition.
And driving the Sign Effects, Mildura number 14. He gets the job done on night number 1. Congratulations, Cameron Smith. Dude, you wheeled that thing. Congratulations on a cracking drive, man. It must feel pretty cool.
All right, cheers. The track's pretty rough out there, and yeah.
Wheeling it around, mate. I'm sure you're doing Dad and, of course, Pop proud watching on as well. It's a pretty cool moment for you guys. It's been a tough couple of years in your racing, and really cool to have everyone supporting you. I'm sure he's looking down, brother.
All right, yep. I'd just like to thank Dad for bringing me all the way here from Mildura. Sign Effects, Phil Smith Automotive, Duck Makers, and yeah.
Good luck on night number 2 tomorrow night, mate. Go and polish this thing up again. It always looks A1 100%. Cameron Smith driving the V14 out of Mildura, Victoria, gets the heat race win.
Making those young fellas feel a little bit more nervous than what they already were.
They probably hated every second of it, Smalley.
They weren't enjoying it, to say the least.
We might pop those interviews up on the Ash Media Facebook page over the course of tomorrow morning as well, so that all the junior sedan drivers can get their time to shine over the course of the weekend, Smalley.
That would be awesome, Jared. Would be fantastic, to say the least, as we're looking forward to watching these 9 competitors go around in Heat 19. And the 2 Alexandra members on the front row, Patterson and Bryant, will lead them to the start of this one. And Lincoln gets a great start from pole position. TLC Contracting, W3 of Donnie Davis to the inside of a couple of them, and Curtis Peel and Carter Metcalfe made a great start. So there's some heavy hitters this weekend's national title in this field. And Lincoln Patterson will lead them through pits corner for the first occasion, but I think he's going to get plenty of opposition over the course of these 8 laps. Carter Metcalfe, 3/4 track high, got very close to the concrete wall here in the front straight. The VA10 goes around the outside of Shani Farrell up into 4th place. Farrell trying to fight back. And the little charade that can of Curtis Peel is digging big time. Here comes the Q11. He's had a couple of runner-up finishes to start the national title. Would love a heat race win to end night number 1. And we got one on the wall down there in turn number 4. That's Braden Kane, has come to grief in the Tasmania 23. And a hotly contested heat race will come.
The doctors would have to put an end to Luke Galley having a kid, surely.
I think so. I think there's
some sort of screening process at the front door, I would hope.
I'm not touching that one. Let's get the junior sedan racing back underway. This is heat race number 19, the Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. And Lincoln Patterson just caught Donnie Davis napping a little bit there at the start. The resumption of that one gave a couple of car lengths away to Donnie Davis. He's got Curtis Peel, Carter Metcalfe and Shani Farrell. 5 of the quickest cars in the field this weekend. Arguably, all 5 of them could easily qualify automatically into tomorrow night's A-Main. And Carter Metcalfe would love to go through night 1 undefeated with 108 points. He's 3/4 track high on the outside of Curtis Peel. And I reckon Donnie Davis is surprising a few people this weekend. They would never have heard of this young fella. Lives in a very remote part of Western Australia. And his home track at Newman is pretty big, over 500 metres. And I think they're using that knowledge to good use this weekend, albeit the straights are a little bit more pronounced at the Hillview Speedway. They're watching at home over there in Newman. I've had a couple of messages from them cheering on Donnie Davis. He looks to the inside of the local. From here in Alexandra, Lincoln Patterson, the Rasler Engineering entry, continues to hold on. Carter Metcalfe, he doesn't have to be asked twice. He's trying to capitalise on that slight mistake by Donnie Davis. He went super deep into pits corner. Metcalfe ranging up alongside of Donnie Davis. The side-by-side, the Mitsubishi Lancer on the low line of Donnie Davis. The Hyundai Excel out of Mildura, the northwestern part of Victoria. He's on the outside as Carter Metcalfe. He's been outstanding this weekend. He momentarily goes into second. Donnie Davis trying to go with him. They're right behind Lincoln Patterson. It's a good thing he doesn't have a rear view mirror, because here comes Carter Metcalfe. Three-quarter track high once again. To the outside goes the Mildura number 10. Around the outside of Lincoln Patterson. Patterson trying to go with him, but the Hyundai Excel is hooked up and hauling the mail in Alexandra this weekend. The number 10 sails into turn 3 for the second last occasion. Will greet the white flag. Patterson and Donnie Davis trying to go with him in their Lancers. Donnie Davis is trying to steal second in the concluding stages of this heat race number 19 of the SSA National Junior Sedan title, brought to you by Rasler Engineering. And Donnie Davis goes to second down the inside of Lincoln Patterson. What a move. The West Australian goes to second, but Carter Metcalfe, 3 wins from 3 starts, 108 points in the bank for the VA10. Carter Metcalfe wins from Donnie Davis, Lincoln Patterson. Curtis Peel will be 4th in the Q11. T35 of Shani Farrell rounding out your top 5 in what was a hotly contested heat race number 19, run at a cracking pace. The quick time of the race belonged to Carter Metcalfe, who did it on the final circulation at 22.076. After Shani Farrell in 5th, 6th was Blake Glynn from Billy McBride, and Jasmine Bryant was 8th in the final car running in the little charade, the V29, with Braden Kane only completing 1 lap there in heat number 19, but outstanding set of laps by Carter Metcalfe. He come from, let's just check the grid draws there. He started in P8, so he's gone from P10 for a heat win earlier tonight and P8 for another heat win. 108 points after night number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alexandra Speedway. The kid goes 3 from 3 on night number 1. Make plenty of noise for Carter Metcalfe. Dude, picture perfect. From practice to the first 3 heats, you're going to finish night number 1. No one has been able to beat the Mildura 10 yet.
Oh, mate, I'm just unbelievable. Got no words. I can't believe this car, I'm doing this. Oh, the racing is unbelievable. I'm just loving this right now.
I think you might come to Alexandra Speedway a little bit more in the next few years, hey?
Oh, we'll see. I'm out of juniors this season, so I might come back just to do a 100 lapper or when we get the mod done, but man, I love this place.
Congratulations, mate. You've got a cracking team. The whole family have set this car up perfectly. It must be a really exciting moment. Good boost in confidence as you get into night number 2 tomorrow.
Oh, hell, this boosts my confidence like through the window. I'm loving this. I would like to thank everyone who's worked on this car throughout the years. I'm loving this.
I think half of Mildura will be upstanding in their lounge room right now on the live stream as well, mate. Congratulations on an epic night number 1. Good luck tomorrow night, Carter Metcalfe.
Thank you very much.
He's ecstatic, and so he should be. Right now, there's no one that's been able to beat that Mildura number 10 around Alexandra Speedway. Our top 8 cars in the night standings go 1 versus 1 across 2 laps here at Alexandra Speedway. And your first pairing right now, currently positions number 7 and 8 on the grid, driving the Perry's Family Farms, number 32, Brody Christie, and starting on his outside, driving the HA36 of Todd Atkins, and the Australian number 4 as well, newly crowned at Heartland Raceway, Moama. Yellow lights are still out right now, so I think we'll go another time around. Just going to stretch the legs a bit and get a feel for the racetrack. Got Graham West out here in the Bendigo 56. It's a cool result for Westy to get up into another pole shuffle. Scotty Angus in the Nyora 72.
the National Modified Sedan Champion, Brock Atkins, into this show. The Victorian Modified Sedan Champion, Kai Walters, is down here. The South Australian Champion is down here as well. Jake Druitt in the Mildura 18. That's a cool shot of 3 different number 1s. And, of course, current pole sitter Matt Nelson. Lights are out between Christie and Atkins. It's a better start by Todd on the outside. It's Christie up the inside. And Todd locked to the top. Atkins looks the better down the back straightaway. He's got 2 car lengths over Christie. And that can quickly change in a pole shuffle here, sponsored by True Design Homes. And Christie regains some ground, coming off turn number 4. As Angus lights the tyres. Look at Christie locked onto the tail now. Trying to turn things around. Christie right on the rear of Atkins. Todd's got half a corner left to run and hang on. And he will. Todd Atkins gets the job done. And pole shuffle number 1. And Scotty Angus joins the surface now. The Nyora 72 for Ramsdale Wreckers. He's going to pull up alongside Todd Atkins. And, of course, Angus will have lane choice. He can go to the inside or the outside row, courtesy of being the higher qualifying car. And Angus, you would think, will choose that inside lane. And he has. Lights are out. Set for another one. Alexandra Speedway, be up on your feet. Another pole shuffle. That is an ugly launch. Oh, I'm not sure we're going to stay with it. We're still green. Oh, and Angus has got the thing around. I think we're going to stay green. Nope, lights come out at the very moment. So Angus loops it, and I almost think that Angus might be infield for that. Could be the cause of stoppage. Just depending on how that race start gets called. If we get the verdict handed down, that could very well be Angus infield, possibly as cause of the stoppage. Looping the N72. Wait and find out. Looks like at the moment he's going to rejoin and we'll restart these 2. Was not a good launch. And we're going to go again. Yellow lights go out. 2 laps on the board. So Ramsdale Wreckers, Nyora 72 of Scotty Angus on the inside. Todd Atkins. The national number 4 in modified sedans now for Atkins Family Racing. Adam Holt Industries, Wadia Works, Wandon Heavy Haulage, and Tritech Lubricants on board this team, set for a launch. That's a better start. Atkins has the better of it too. Into 1 and 2 they run. Atkins locks the car to the low side. The HA36 looks comfortable right now for Trigg Engine Developments. He's locked to the bottom. It's going to be tough to beat Atkins from here. Rarely makes a mistake. Driving his Club 36 Innovations. Hamilton-based number 36. There's not a lot this kid can't do in terms of his own racing development. He's making all his own parts and tools at Club 36 Innovations. And he drives the 36 to another pole shuffle victory. And he'll move up another row alongside Graham West in the Bendigo 56. Westy again will have lane choice. You would think he'll pick the inside lane. He's going to pull up and join Todd this time. And he does. He pulls up on the inside. I think we'll go lights out. We do. Set for a launch. Your True Design Homes pole shuffle at the ready. It's a good launch by Westy, but it's Atkins at the nose over the line. West committed to the bottom. Atkins around the top. And Todd is going to lead the back straight away once more. This kid is on the move. Westy trying to lock her to the bottom. White flag waves this time. And it's a substantial gap now that Todd Atkins has over Graham West. Todd just glued down. The next car, the Victorian champion. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Todd Atkins is going to greet the checkered flag this shuffle. And he too will move another row forward. How far can this kid go? Kai Walters raps on the pipes of the Victoria number 1 for True Design Homes to catch up to Todd Atkins down the back straight and kick this thing into gear. This will be a test for Atkins now. V1 versus A4. The lights will go out and we are set for a start. Kai Walters is very good at these. It's a better start by Atkins. He drives it down deep. Walters tucked right in tight. You can't give Kai Walters too much racing line on these tracks. Walters is tucked right in. This has been the best battle so far. Half a car separates the pair as the white flag waves on the main straightaway. Walters is tucked right in the rear bumper now. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Walters is still searching. Has a big crack to put the crossover on. Drifts up high. It's not going to happen. Folks, put your hands together for Todd Atkins. Going another step up. This is an exciting pair. Your newly crowned national modified sedan champion, or better known to Todd as his older brother, joins the racetrack with him now, and you can bet that Greg and Kelly be up in arms here. This will be an exciting one. I think Brock's going to pick the outside. Todd's not budging. This would be cool. Brock on the top side. He's watched Todd go better there around the outside so far. I love this. Atkins versus Atkins. Todd with a better launch. I tell you, Todd's got a quicker car right now off the line. So it's Todd from Brock. Have a look at the crossover from Brock. Brock's back on the inside. Into 3 and 4. That was clinical from the national champion. Todd back to 2. And Brock leads. White flag waves. It's a belter of a race. Todd's tucked right back in again. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Brock into 3 and 4 leads Todd Atkins. Coming off turn 4. Folks, put your hands together for the national champion. And he's pipped off his little brother, Todd, and gets the job done in that shuffle. The next car to join him, the South Australian champion of Jake Druitt. And Todd had that thing wound up, but Brock just put it back on the crossover and made it stick. Druitt's going to go to the inside. Yellow lights go out. It's number 1 versus number 1 again. The SA champ versus the national champ. Brock with a better launch. It's good straightaway speed by Druitt though. He's tucked right in low. It's Brock down the back straightaway here at Alexandra Speedway. The Wadea Works and Wandon Heavy Haulage. Australia number 1 looks lock solid right now. White flag waves. Into 1 and 2 for one last time in this shuffle. And down the back straightaway, Brock has Druitt covered through 3 and 4 with a comfortable buffer. Gets the checkered flag. Brock's going to the front row. And this is the battle right here on home turf for Matt Nelson. Nello's going to park the AX61 alongside the big bad number 1 of Brock Atkins to decide your pole sitter. This is for the front row right now, 1 versus 2. Matt Nelson on the inside, Brock Atkins on the outside. Alexandra Speedway, are you ready? Yellow lights are out, we're green. Off turn number 4. Nothing in it. That's as good a shuffle as you want on the main straight. Nello committed to the inside. Atkins looked better around the top. And it's still Atkins into 3 and 4. Going to come out of turn number 4. Nello's digging the bottom. Drifts up a little bit high. And loses some ground. Into 1 and 2 for the final time. Down the back straightaway for the Wadea Works Wandon Heavy Haulage. Atkins Family Racing A1. He's headed to the pole position. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Nelson will start outside row number 1 in tonight's True Design Homes pole shuffle. Make plenty of noise as he rolls by the crew fence. There in turn number 3 and 4, the national champion, and Nello pulls up alongside him. It's a cool couple of battles, and Todd Atkins put it to a few of them. It was a belter. They both pull up infield. Grab a quick chat with Brock. And we'll grab a photo. It's a gorgeous looking race car. Since taking ownership of Elite Shock Services, Brock and his partner Cassie worked really hard on their shock program and delivering a lot of the field with that same program out of Elite Shock Services. After it was Jake Druitt and the Mildura crew that ran that. And now Brock and his partner Cassie will take a photo with the pole shuffle winner board, proudly sponsored by True Design Homes. Just get the light to reflect off it. Brock, congratulations, mate. It's got to be pretty cool to cap off the A1 with a pole position starting tonight's main event.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a tricky, interesting night. It's I think because we don't come here very often, it's not a conventional, traditional style speedway. It's like it throws some curveballs, gearing. This place it's got heaps of natural grip in it, as in you generate way more side bite than you would at any other racetrack, but then you've got the slick spots that sort of catch you out too. So you've got to be you've got to have the best of both worlds. You've got to be able to ride the rough and yeah, turn and hook up on the slick. So it's tricky, but yeah, I think we're not too far off ourselves. Just got to keep working on it and see how we go.
Bit of a bully on the A4 there, mate. You had to pip the little brother out. Don't settle for anyone else, eh? It was a cracking race between you two, and he had a lot of those boys covered, mate. It was really cool to see him climbing from the back of that thing right up to where he did.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he'd had the outside run every single go, and I thought, no, I'm gonna wreck this for you, bud.
Good luck in the main event later on, boys. 30 laps on the board for that one. We always look forward to it here at the VMPA Tritech Lubricant Series. Your pole sitter for tonight's main event, the Elite Shock Services Australia #1 of Brock Atkins. $100 cash in the form of winning their dash. It's Brad Warren in the pole position. Alongside Casey Garlick in the AX62. Darcy Wilson is in there. Angus, there's Peter Angus outside row number 2, and Daniel Simpson at the tail. We're going to stay yellow. We were set for a start. Safety crews, I think, going to have a look at something in turn 3 and 4, possibly a 5-car field for this dash to decide the final spots in the main event. So down the back straight away. Should wait for lights to go out. And that track crew car back on the infield, and we should be ready. Yeah, lights are flashing. We're going to go out. Go green next time with Brad Warren and Garlick on the outside. Wilson and Angus, Daniel Simpson at the tail. We're green. It's a cracking launch by Wilson. He goes from the rear right to the front on the main straightaway. Hell of a drive by Darcy Wilson. Cracking launch, and he leads right now in our first dash. From Casey Garlick, from Daniel Simpson, from Brad Warren. Simpson puts a big move on Garlick, and he's coming after Wilson now as well. After a black flag early in the night, Simpson is fighting back hard. It was a safety failure. The net came down on the HO33, and here he comes, the Horsham Auto Wreckers 33 to the front. Simpson puts a speculator on Wilson. And Daniel Simpson currently leads through 3 and 4. Not too many left to run across dash number 1. Simpson from Wilson, from Casey Garlick, from Brad Warren, and Peter Angus rounds out the field in the Ramsdale Wreckers. N71. Wilson hasn't let Simpson go, mind you. He's continuing to cling on to the HO33 rear bumper. The lap's winding down. Garlick starting to buy back into this one too. She knows this track well. Whether it's in a wingless sprint, a junior sedan, or now the modified sedan. Garlick can operate a number of different race cars as the white flag waves, and she's continuing to put pressure on Darcy Wilson. And that True Design Homes, Ballarat number 5. He has a big push, and here comes Garlick. Casey Garlick up to P2. He's going to have a very proud mum up on the hill of all people. Be going off about that move. She'll be stoked with that one. Garlick up to P2. And Daniel Simpson gets the job done in their dash number 1. Driving the Horsham number 33. Proudly Horsham backed is Daniel Simpson from Casey Garlick, from Darcy Wilson, who had a cracking launch and just got outpicked right at the line. And that final lap by Casey Garlick, who put a good move back on when Wilson pushed upwards. Yeah, and pulls up in front of the family there on the main straightaway. It's a belter drive. Those cars will head back to the pits and set up for tonight's 30-lap main event. Plenty of cash on the line for the VMPA Tritec Lubricant Series.
So that elevates Bree Simpson to the outside of the front row in the V10. Jaden Bryant in the V49, back in his own car for this race. V93, Seth Sloan. The V64, James Oliver. WA 95, Kane Della looking to join Carter Metcalfe with being undefeated on night number 1 with 108 points. V25 is Cruz Farrell. Jumping in the Lockie Bull, number 51 is Bo Oldfield. He's got the 84 roof plate and his transponder on this car. Substitute car for Bo Oldfield. And JJ Hamilton out there as well in the Q99. So we've got the 9 starters to go round. Jessica O'Donnell as well, the other one in the V69 out there in heat race number 20. With the Tasmanian champion, Nate Garwood, who won that title in February down at the Cranes Combined Carrick Speedway, looking to try and win his first heat race of this weekend's national title. Is getting pretty willing for second place behind Jaden Bryant. And Bree Simpson is in second from Jaden Bryant and Kane Della. That very quick Hyundai Excel from Kalgoorlie in Western Australia is up into 4th. And from the back of the field, JJ Hamilton with a great start in the Queensland 19. But Morgan Metal Corp has moved up into 5th place and he's on the charge. He's 3/4 track high, just getting willing for second. Look at Kane Della go to the outside. The Hyundai Excels have found a bit of racetrack to work with. We saw it with Carter Metcalfe a couple of races ago. Now Kane Della's repeating the dose to the outside of the 2 locals in Bree Simpson and also Jaden Bryant. He's gone to second. Kane Della hits the race lead. The KCLD cleaning number 95 from Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. Momentarily had the nose in front. The Tasmanian champion Nate Garwood fighting back on the low line. What a great battle. Hyundai versus Mitsubishi as they sail off into turn number 1. And I think the 95, the current WA number 3's got the job done. Got it Murray Owen, our former Super Sedan and Sprint Car competitor on the spanners this weekend. Murray's son Blake, a 2-time WA champion in this division. Plenty of knowledge about the Hyundai Excels and they're using it to great knowledge here at Alexandra. Jaden Bryant ranges up alongside of the V10 of Bree Simpson. Jaden Bryant to 3rd. Jaden had a heat win earlier today as well. Had to borrow a car for his second heat race. He's inside the top 3. Simpson and JJ Hamilton in the 19. The Q19 again using the outside of the racetrack through Pitts Corner. He's out by the concrete wall. Sitting back there in 5th. Bo Oldfield sits in 6th in the substitute car that he's borrowed from Lockie Bull. After that is Seth Sloan and Cruz Farrell in the Victoria number 25 as our leader Kane Della. He's just put enough real estate, enough of Alexandra Speedway between himself and the rest of the competitors with a couple of laps remaining. There's 2 to run for Kane Della. He leads. Jaden Bryant has now moved into second from Nate Garwood. JJ Hamilton And Bree Simpson's gone back to 5th, rounding out your top 5. Bo Oldfield is 6th from Seth Sloan, Cruz Farrell, Jessica O'Donnell, and Tyson Heafy rounds out the 10 out on track here in heat race number 20, the penultimate heat race of night 1 of this year's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. Jaden Bryant now clearly 2nd. What a great battle for 3rd and 4th between JJ Hamilton and Nate Garwood. JJ Hamilton from P8, and he's challenging now for a position inside the top 3. He's up alongside the Tasmanian champion as they head into turn 3 and into the front straight. Checkered flag time. Kane Della joins Carter Metcalfe to be undefeated on night number 1. Jaden Bryant for 2nd. Oh, photo finish. Nate Garwood got it on the line by 0.017 of a second from JJ Hamilton. Bree Simpson rounds out your top 5. Bo Oldfield will be happy to collect points for 6th in that borrowed car number 84. Seth Sloan will be 7th in the V93 from the V25 Cruz Farrell, V69 Jessica O'Donnell, and the V89 of Tyson Heafy. Running out your 10 finishes. Green to checker without a stoppage. And Kane Della, all the way from Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, came from position number 7 to get the job done in the KCLD Cleaning Hyundai Excel.
So he too will go undefeated on night number 1. Kane Della driving the W95, undefeated. All 3 heat races, mate. Domination. Well done. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, actually. I definitely wasn't expecting to get that one with how the track is, but I don't know. Yeah, it's insane. I'd like to thank everyone back at home supporting me since they couldn't be here, especially little Charlie and Jacob. Mum and Dad bring me over here, and I've pulled this off. I can't believe it.
Mate, it's going to be really cool to see you and Carter Metcalfe go highest points into a heat race tomorrow together. Would be really cool to see. It's going to be a cracking tomorrow night for you. There's so much on the line as you two get spearheaded back together. Do you have anything to change to the car, or you're pretty comfortable with how it's handling right now?
No, we haven't changed a thing all weekend. We checked over it last one since we had no brakes, but they just got a bit warm, and nothing to change. Just send it again tomorrow.
Perfect, mate. Congratulations on an epic night number 1. It's a cracking team. It looks a gorgeous race car. We can't wait to see the W95 back out tomorrow night. Rev right engines on the side of this thing, and they have it pieced together perfectly so far. One night to come to try and separate Carter Metcalfe.
Win here. He'll be also undefeated as well, but he's got to go from position number 10. So this heat race will feature Fletcher Barron in the V5 and the V47 of River Patterson, the S45 Aaron Tranter and the V4 of Jaden Locke, V23 Tamika Simpson in the Q27 of Cooper Flynn. Braden Austin is borrowing a car for this race, I believe. Yeah, the 14 of Michaela Riley. So also in this heat race is Logan Mayer, Kane Richter's in the Q32, V95 Tanner Barclay, and that man we just spoke of from Gympie, the Q28 of the Queensland champion, Aiden Rigby. You're there. Your 11 starters for Heat 21, a full field to go around, albeit with a substitute car for Braden Austin, racing one of his fellow Tasmanian entries in Michaela O'Reilly's car. But Heat 21 is all go. And the South Australian champion, Aaron Tranter, trying to make his presence felt. He's already hit the race lead in turn number 2. River Patterson, who had a heat win earlier tonight in the Rassler Engineering Mitsubishi Lancer, just gets shuffled back a bit early in this one as it's getting a little bit untidy in turn number 4. Jaden Locke tries to gather up the car out of Simpson Car Club here in Victoria. Falls back to 4th place, and Aiden Rigby on the charge. Look at the Q28 go from P10 up into 3rd place. He is flying, the Queensland champion. Can he go through night 1 undefeated, just like Carter Metcalfe and Kane Della have done earlier tonight? What an outstanding start by Aiden Rigby, the Queensland champion, now up in 3rd, challenging Kane Richters, who made a great start as well in the Q32, to be up into 2nd place. These guys do a lot of racing against each other in Queensland. Does Aiden Rigby and Kane Richters. They still have their Queensland state title to come in June at the Fraser Shores Maryborough Speedway. And Aiden Rigby now clearly in 2nd place. And can he hunt down the South Australian champion, Aaron Tranter? It's the South Australian champion leading the Queensland champion, Aiden Rigby. Kane Richters is 3rd. The High Tech Oils car out of Avalon here in Victoria. Fletcher Barron is 4th from Jaden Locke. Falling back to 6th place is River Patterson. He's got Tanner Barclay and also Logan Mayer for company. Further back is Tamika Simpson, Cooper Flynn, And in that borrowed car is the T65 of Brandon Austin, who unfortunately went upside down earlier today in his Hyundai Excel. He's behind the wheel of the Lancer for heat race number 21. But Aaron Tranter, waiting for him to make his presence felt in the national title, does a lot of racing at Murray Bridge over the course of the summer season. Sails around that high back venue. Murray Bridge, nothing like Alexandra at all. Had a chat to him yesterday afternoon and said it was different to anything they have in South Australia. Is the Alexandra Speedway. He's coming to grips with it in the charade. It's absolutely flying as he heads down the back straight. Aiden Rigby, Kane Richters has a gaggle of cars behind him. He has Fletcher Barron, River Patterson and Jaden Locke for company in that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. And Tanner Barclay also in that battle as well in the V95 as River Patterson goes back to 4th. In the V47 down the inside of Fletcher Barron now has designs on 3rd place. Looks to the inside of the Q32 of Kane Richters. That's a great scrap for the Miners between those young drivers. These junior sedans, you wouldn't believe it, ages 10 through 17 this weekend in the national title. Remarkable, absolute superstars of the future, not just in Speedway, but in our communities around the country. As River Patterson moves into 3rd place. Great move down the inside of Kane Richters, the current South Australia number 2, trying to fight back on the low line. And so he does in the Q32. Switchback manoeuvre in the Mirage. Fletcher Barron getting amongst them as well. But out of turn 4, bring him home. The South Australian champion collects maximum points in Heat 21 from Aiden Rigby, a fine runner-up. Kane Richters just on the line from River Patterson. Fletcher Barron will be 5th from Tanner Barclay. Jaden Locke. After that would have been Logan Mayer, Cooper Flynn, Tamika Simpson and Braden Austin in the T65. But Aiden Rigby will be content with 2 wins in a 2nd place on night number 1. But it was the S45 of Aaron Tranter who will win the final heat of day number 1 of this year's Rassler Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title.
So driving for Booth and CW Wines in the S45 and the South Australia number 1, Aaron Tranter gets the job done on the final heat race of the night. He'll grab his photos and the heat race winner board he's able to take back home to South Australia. As you've got to be happy with that, mate. That's a cool effort on the first night of the national title. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's pretty good feeling just to get the heat race over done with. Just next night, yeah, starting second next heat tomorrow. So yeah, we'll find out what tomorrow brings, and yeah.
You certainly weren't getting reeled in then, mate. You made that a race of your own in this SA number 1. It must have felt pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's pretty rough out there. Try to keep it smooth as possible, and yeah, good track.
We look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night at Alexandra Speedway. Night number 2 of the Rassler SSA Inc. National Junior Sedan title. That's your South Australian champion, Aaron Tranter, driving the SA45. It's the supreme dirt racing calibre is the Tranter family. Of course, his older brother Jake across sprint cars and go-karts. All things dirt over there in South Australia. Is Jake Druitt, and on his outside, joining the field, Todd Atkins in the HA36. Inside row number 3, the Victoria number 1 of Kai Walters. On his outside, driving the Bendigo 56 is Graham West. Inside row number 4, driving the Nyora 72 is Scott Angus. Now on his outside, driving for the Paris Family Farms, AX32 is Brody Christie. Inside of row number 5, driving the HO33, Daniel Simpson. And on his outside, driving the AX62 is Casey Garlick, Darcy Wilson, Brad Warren, and Peter Angus. Yellow lights are flashing Alexandra Speedway. The VMPA Tritech Lubricant Series is in the house. 30 laps on the board. Let's get it on. Atkins and Nello off the front row. Druitt and Atkins from Walters and West. Serving them up hot and fast in 1 and 2. 3 wide if you don't mind. Atkins is going to lead coming off turn number 4. Your opening lap going the way of the A1. And it's Nello. Todd Atkins goes to the top. Here comes Kai Walters on the inside as well. He's having a dig. Brody Christie is locked right in there. arguably the fastest 6 cars in Victoria right now are locked into this top 6. Scotty Angus pulls into the infield behind me. The left front corner adrift on the Nyora 72. Brock Atkins leads. He's got half a straightaway back to Nello from Jake Druitt, who's putting heavy pressure on Nello. Walters up to 4, Todd Atkins in 5, Christie in 6. Simpson and Westy having a dice. Simpson with a big move up the inside. He puts a pass on West. And it's back to Casey Garlick, Darcy Wilson, Brad Warren, and Peter Angus at the tail. This is the battle. It's 2, 3, and 4. Then we're back to Todd Atkins and Brody Christie dicing it out. Track is elbows up right now. Brock looking comfortable out in front. The Australia one sits nice and he continues to pull distance. Back to Nello. Kai's hammering away at the SA1 of Druitt. Hasn't been able to open up a lane to make it happen yet. Nello's got second, locked down. Christie's right on the hammer of Todd Atkins. This second group of 5 cars are going at it. Todd Atkins has a crack up the inside and Walters has to back out of it. And that opens the door for Christie around the top. Druitt and Walters, pair of number 1s, dicing it up through 3 and 4. Brock is just skipping away at this one. The Adam Holt Industries, Wadea Works, number 1. Looking as comfortable as ever. He's coming up onto lap traffic of Peter Angus. Then it's Nello. Looks a little bit more comfortable now does Matt Nelson. He's got a gap to play with. Back to Druitt, back to Walters, and they've still got this lap traffic. Nyora 71 of Peter Angus to work their way around. Casey Garlick's right up behind Daniel Simpson now. Deeper in the field. The Tritech Lubricants AX62's got it wound up on the outer groove of Simpson. She judges the lap traffic perfectly and Casey rips the top. Wilson gets into the side of Angus. He's lucky to escape that battle through lap traffic. Does well. And Casey Garlick putting a big move back on Simpson. Simpson rips the bottom. Casey committed to the top. Goes upstairs again on the main straightaway in front of her family. They're cheering her home. Back out in front, Brock Atkins still has a half straightaways lead over a bloke that's done as many laps here as anyone. Matt Nelson in second. Druitt, Walters, Atkins and Christie. No one really able to put a move on each other right now. They're locked down. And Atkins just solid out in front. He's got this thing blown away right now. The Australia one is wound up and locked down. His best lap at 20.335. Is continuing to sail away. Nelson trying his best to stay in touch. They're up to lap traffic once again. It's Peter Angus on the pole line. He's committed there and he's holding his line. He's struggled with that car all night. It's just not running as well as they'd have hoped. Nelson still staying in touch. This is remarkable. The top 6 cars are glued together like they are. Druitt has a big run on Nelson. Coming off turn 4. At the halfway point of this race next time. Atkins just hammering away. Looking comfortable still from Matt Nelson, from Jake Druitt. The E-Series Falcon, one of the older cars in the field right now. It's certainly not compared to Graham West in the Tirana. But the E-Series Falcon, the EA747, that's been affectionately known as out of Mildura, Victoria, has plenty of speed in this thing yet. They're starting to catch Brock Atkins now too. Brock might just be off the hammer a little bit. Starting to just nurse the car home and play it safe, but the boys in behind are starting to round up the A1. It's the smallest of margins, but it could play all important as they make more ground through 3 and 4 on the Australian number 1 of Atkins. Walters has Christie right on the rear tail. Todd Atkins is in there too. Warren and West battling around the top side on Angus. Truitt with a big speculator up the inside of Nelson. And the field is bunched back together again. Walters with a big move on Nello. Matt Nelson has problems with the 61. Nello definitely slows in the AX61. And he's got dramas. Here comes Jake Truitt. Keep your eyes on the SA number 1. Brad Warren pulls to the infield as well. The Quick Time Automotive 84 is on the infield. As comes Nello. Matt Nelson in the AX61 to the infield. So battle back on track is Brock Atkins with a bit of a lead over the South Australian champion from the Victorian champion from Brodie Christie. He knows this track well. Calls Alexandra home, that car, the AX32. It's his home club, home racetrack. He knows it well. He's got to put that to action now as the field start to bunch up behind Westy. They're all locked together behind him. Casey Garlick slows on the bottom side. And Angus goes around. This is where it's going to heat up. Atkins has a pretty good lead, but here comes Walters on the SA champ. He's tucked inside that left rear corner and won't go away. The white and purple V1 is hammering. He's putting all the pressure in the world right now on the Mildura 18 of Druitt. Christie is there as well. One wrong move and the Victorian champ is up to 2. He's got to do everything right from here. Westy's got no left front. I don't know where it's gone. And Graham West comes to a stop in turn number 1. Boys, I'm not sure if you saw where that came adrift or if it's just tucked wholesale up inside that left front guard, but looks like the left front, he's evacuated the building on the Bendigo 56. I was waiting for it to spear across the infield and give me a triple backflip or something like that, but I don't think it's there anymore.
I'd give you a score out of 10 if you did. No, I saw some officials pointing down towards turn 3, but I'm not 100% sure myself, Liam. I was too busy watching Kai Walters with the front bumper under the back bumper of Druitt in front. He had the rear wheels off the ground coming down the main straightaway. He was giving him the big hurry up.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? I love these fended cars that you don't have an issue with that. You certainly can't do it in a sprint car or an open-wheeled wingless or anything like that. I love that you can rub the panels up a bit and scuffle around and upset a couple of these cars. Let them know you're there.
Well, we found Westy's wheels coming to the infield down the bottom of turns 3 and 4 there, and I think Graham's parked about as far away as possible.
Tried to keep it committed for a while.
Yeah. No, I heard it rolling along the main straightaway, dragging the old chassis
sound,
rail.
wasn't it? 6 Tirana sits it back. The tilt tray, and Westy walks down to collect his wheel. Set for a start again behind Atkins. What has Walters got this time? What has Druitt got for your race leader in Atkins? It all goes on the line now to decide series round number 3, Victor. Atkins has got to get this thing wound up. Here comes Kai Walters up the inside. Almost grabs Atkins as well. That early thought on the Walters number 1. That always managed to find another gear. And I tell you, they found it then. What has Kai got for Brock around the outside? Into turns number 3. Kai's on the top. He thunders through the ruts, and we have a new race leader. The thing billows a dark flame from the tailpipe of the V1, and we have a new race leader. It's Kai Walters. Never say die. The Peter Walters, True Design Homes, Victoria number 1 as this thing pieced together right now. Here comes Todd Atkins as well up the inside. Todd's up to 4, nearly into 3. Christie's having a big charge. Tell you what, the Oz one just doesn't quite have the pace it had at the start of this race. And Kai continues to step away. It's been fantastic since the restart, and here comes Todd. It's locked to the bottom, and he's going to go to P3 on Brodie Christie now. He's got his brother next to contend with, and I think the Atkins 36 might have the speed to do it. Just as I say that, he runs a bit high, grabs some of the looser stuff up top, and Atkins drifts up high. Christie is through clear for 3 again. It's a cracking battle for number 3 and 4. Atkins in the middle. Laps are winding down. The Victorian champion has this thing shot to bits. His family and the whole crew of supporters, his partner, the whole crew, will be going mental right now on the main straightaway. Coming out of turn 4 one last time. The white flag waves, 1 to run. Into turn 1 and 2 for the final time this race. 29 laps, and it's come down to this. Through 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, bang your hands together. The Victorian champion gets the job done. Brock Atkins through for 2nd. Brodie Christie will run 3rd. Todd Atkins, Jake Druitt, Daniel Simpson from Darcy Wilson. In the final car to finish, Peter Angus. Folks, put your hands together as he rolls past the crowd. He'd be stoked with that one. Edges out the national champion with just a few to run. And Brodie Christie's right in there as well. Put your hands together. Kai Walters takes the feature race win. And another big step in the right direction to go a back-to-back VMPA Tritech Lubricant Series champ. Cracking race. Brock Atkins did everything right for the first 3 quarters of that and just didn't quite have the speed to hang with the V1 right at the end. Make plenty of noise as he circulates around. Flash the lights, Alexandra Speedway. Hats off to the Victorian champion team. They're right here up on the fence. Plenty of the Walters Racing hoodies. They'll be stoked with that one. The Australia one of Brock Atkins brings it here on the main straightaway. We'll grab a chat with Brock as well. Put your hands together, folks, down the main straightaway one last time. Kyle Walters takes your feature event win here at Alexandra Speedway for 30 laps. He led the ones that counted. It's a gorgeous looking race car and a well-earned effort. And he'll pull up here alongside our top 3. And that True Design Homes Victoria number 1. We'll grab a chat with Brodie Christie first in front of the home crowd, mate. This AX32 tonight. She's a little battered and bruised in the front end, but you're right there when it counted, mate. 3rd must feel pretty good.
Yeah, well, I better be careful who I run into. This bloke does me shock. So, yeah, look, it was good to be here. We've sort of chased it all night. The track's completely different, but I love being here. I don't care whether I come last or first. I just love being up here. I think these guys do an awesome job. This track keeps getting better. Honestly, do yourselves a favour and come here because this is unbelievable racing here. It's unbelievable.
I'm sure everyone will have loved the live stream right through the night and got to showcase these mods and just how good they are every time we come back to Alexandra.
Oh, mate, like, I've grown up racing here and it gets better and better. Like, there's no damage, there's no carnage. It is just off its head racing. So to run door-to-door with these guys every week, you know, I think the same podium last year, it's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to the Vic title and I think we can make this one special.
Congratulations, 3rd place tonight, the AX32, Brodie Christie. He's going to congratulate him with Kai. We'll grab 2nd place next. Driving the Elite Shock Services and Tritech Lubricants, Wandon Heavy Haulage, Australia number 1, Brock Atkins. Brock, man, you did everything right. Never put a foot wrong. The V1 just had a little bit more right at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. He took off at the end there. He class act as per usual. Kai, he's good on those long runs, and yeah, it's proven. So yeah, thanks to all my guys, everyone on the car, Tritech Lubricants, Swanton Heavy Haulage, Norton Motor Group, DC&TM Auto LX, Worth Australia, Fringe Benefits. Yeah, I've probably forgotten a dozen. Thanks to Mum, Dad, Todd, Cass, everyone who helps out behind the scenes, and congratulations to the podium and all the other place getters and everyone else. And yeah, big thanks to Alex for putting the show on. And yeah, I hope this puts Modifieds back on the map at Alex, because this joint's cool.
Can't wait to see you next weekend at Mildura's B&S Earthworks Timmer Speedway. Hopefully see the Australia one facing right up the pointy end once again.
Yeah, we'll be there.
It'd be cool, lads. Can't wait to see it. Brock Atkins second tonight in the VMPA Tritech Lubricant Series main event. Ladies and gentlemen, they made plenty of noise while you're rolling around, and give him plenty of applause once again. The Victorian champion, Kai Walters. Done well, mate. You were right there when it counted. You just sort of sat there through most of the race. Knew, obviously, you had a pretty good race car underneath you and got the job done where it mattered.
Yeah, well, funny you say that, because I thought it was fairly average. And, you know, after that pole shuffle there, we just threw heaps of stuff at car stuff. I've never even tried it before, so I'm pretty happy that it worked out well, you know. Yeah, congrats to Brody and Brock. I'm pretty sure it's last podium, the same podiums like when we visited last time, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, good, just a good job to the Alex crew and the club, and the guys doing the track. The track's excellent, 2 lanes, so yeah, just big thank you to everyone that helps out on the team, and my parents and everyone in the crew, and Rachel, and yeah, just stoked.
I'm sure we'll see you next weekend at Mildura as well. Can't wait to see that there. Obviously, plenty of money on offer. How far will that go in this race team, mate? Currently, everything's getting pretty grueling after a fairly big blue ribbon event season, so it'd be cool to pocket another 10. It would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice. No, the track at Mildura is excellent now, so yeah, it races really well. So you know, that's just probably a draw card in itself. So no, the money's just a bonus, but you know, you race because you love it, and yeah, the money just helps out.
Congratulations, tonight's main event winner. He'll grab a photo with the feature winner board and grab all the photos of our podium here tonight for your 30-lap main event. And the Victorian champion driving the True Design Homes Falcon, Kai Walters, gets the job done. Make plenty of noise for Brock Atkins, the Australian champion, in second. In the home AX32 of Brody Christie right there in third. Well, boys, he's made me pick someone, and I think I had that nailed, hey?
You nailed it, Liam. Absolutely spot on. Great pick, the Victorian champion, Kai Walters. Just thinking to myself, I'd love to see some of these guys come over to WA to race. It's been a long time since we've had anyone from outside of WA come and run with the modified guys in the West. I'd love to see some of these guys on some of our tracks over there. Of course, the national title is due for modified sedans at WA next year, but a couple other shows in and around that would be pretty cool, to say the least. But Jared, it's been a great opening day/evening to the Raslar Engineering SSA National Junior Sedan title. 21 heats in the books. Carter Metcalfe and Kane Dell undefeated with 108 points. Aiden Rigby with 100. They've started in the best fashion. We'll have a full press release up on the Speedway Sedans Australia Facebook page in the next little while with a few photos and bits and pieces from night number 1. And there'll be plenty of